Hey everybody, it's just chaos. This is Jeremy bringing the chaos, and we have so many things going on. Jeremy Ruckert autograph event with the Jets Lounge today. We're going to talk about that. Mekhi Becton, is he getting too skinny? Is he going to be big enough to play tackle? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll get to that, and we haven't talked about the greatest quarterback of all time, at least off the field, Zach Wilson. We'll get to all of that right after this. Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh my God, no edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Leary, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. Wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge. By the way, I don't know if you're paying attention and you listen really carefully, you'll hear the panel in the background. So on the computer while I was recording all that was our three guys, Green Bean, Matt O'Leary, and Ryan, speaking of which. So let me tell you a little story. About almost 2 years ago, it's the pandemic. I'm bored out of my mind, and there's like no news out in Sacramento about the Jets. I can't get any Jets information. And I'm doing this YouTube stuff with my brother, this hot sauce stuff. And I figure, you know what? Maybe somebody does something on the Jets on YouTube. So I search New York Jets and videos pop up and I watch. And the first video I watch is this guy. Well, I won't say his name. You all know who it is. And he's pretty cool and he knows about, and he's really calm. And it's like, that's rare when you talk a Jet fan that's really calm. He's talking about the upcoming draft or the end of a bad season and, draft capital and things like that. And I'm thinking, man, I really like this. This is cool. So I'm like, start following this guy. I start calling into his show. Next thing I know, I lost my settings on my YouTube because I changed accounts and I couldn't find them. So I'm like searching in Redhead, Jets, Matt, Jets. And I find them, but I don't find them on his channel. I find them on a channel called Jets Talk 24/7. And now I'm watching three guys on the screen. And little did I know one day I would be on that screen with them. But what I'm trying to say is just like Green Bean talks about Paul Esden as the guy that showed him how to do it and brought him in and pulled him into the YouTube world. This guy might not know it, but he is the one that pulled me into that world. So let me bring on Adam, and then we're going to bring on, the guy who introduced Jets on YouTube to me. And I cannot believe that I have a channel less than 2 years later, and he's actually coming on and doing a show with me. Ladies and gentlemen, the great, the only Matt O'Leary.
How do I follow up that intro, Jeremy? God, that was phenomenal, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say it's so funny because my first thing with Jeremy was I knew him as the caller, Jeremy from Sacramento, and now I know you as the YouTube guy, and you're one of us, man. Like, I love it.
It's so awesome, and it all happened just because I clicked the link for like before the draft. Ryan said, "Oh, let's bring some people on," and I was on for a few seconds, and we talked a little bit, and he did it again for the draft. I got on again, and then Green Bean had a contest for his channel on Instagram. He showed like a picture, and he said, "What's the amusement park?" And he likes to say I cheated because I basically looked up the Jersey Shore. I contacted his wife on Twitter. I, and I did everything I could to find it out. And what's funny is there were like 13 places listed, 13 different amusement parks on the Jersey Shore, and it was the last one that I picked. And the Green Bean very begrudgingly let me on the show, saying, "Even though you cheated, I'll let you on." And then everything just took off from there.
So I get credit for creating this monster. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Credit, blame, it's all the same.
Yeah, right.
You'll have to talk to Green Bean and see how he feels about it, because he's the one that's getting hit the worst by it. Like he's referred to me as the plague you can't get rid of.
Oh, that's not nice. Come on, Green Bean.
And the plague just goes down the line because now Jeremy can't get rid of me, so it works out perfectly.
Love it.
So I'll just take care of the next one in line down the road one day.
That's right. So just say hello to some people. We do that here. We say hello to everybody. Matt, you get too many guys to do that. You'd have to run through 150 names. But Dakota's in the house. Thanks, Dakota. Max Million is here. My brother Lee was here just to tell me he wouldn't be here. So that was interesting. Talking with Tigo, just like Ryan, just became a dad. Congratulations, dude. I hope everything is good with the baby. Can't wait to have you back online. Mark Reese in the house. He'll be in the Jets Lounge during the opener. We're looking forward to that. Knobcraft is here. Matt, you must know all these names. All these guys are from these channels.
It's all the same people.
Harlan is here. These guys have been supporting me from the beginning. Jets Mess has been one of my original. He actually gave me my nickname, the Snacks. Snacks. And because of that, I'm actually, when I do the membership thing, it's going to be Jeremy Snackers.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and Jets Mess is the chief snacker. So we got Snowball in the house. Aiden Tobin, who is actually a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, but he likes to hang out here. We talk about his team. We talk about ours. And it'll be interesting to talk to him during the week of the Jacksonville game. Daniel's here. You know him. And what's up, Daniel? And Wicker Sports Media, by the way, is Watu-K99's YouTube name. So just in case you didn't know that, Matt, he covers the Jets, Mets, Rangers, and Knicks all on his channel. So you're below a well, on my screen, you're below a well-rounded New York fan.
I think you're at a sub now.
Checks in the mail on that one, but just did a quick video on the Mets beating the Braves and the first day of Rangers free agency, and just my thoughts on that. So that went up about an hour or two ago. So
nice. And because we can't just have a Jaguars fan in here, we need to have our resident Chiefs fan, Chiefs in the Clutch. What's up? This kid is a very talented kid. He's going to have he has a channel, Chiefs in the Clutch. It's going to be big one day. This kid is 17. We didn't expect much. We had him on once, and he blew us all away. Super knowledgeable. He's all over the different Twitter lounges as well, and he represents himself and his team really well. And Mark Reese, what is up, my man? So, Matt, how is the Rucker? We're going to talk about that, guys. We're definitely going to get to that right now. I just want to welcome Sean McAteer. Just in case you didn't know, Matt O'Leary, there's a place called Temecula, just above San Diego. They have really cool casinos and some wineries, and they have like 3 superheroes that defend the Temecula wine region. They're called they're Macateers, and Sean is the lead Macateer that stands guard and protects the city of Temecula. I totally messed that up. If you're confused right now, I made that up, and that's just we made that.
You had me going there.
And Chris Bradigan, who makes it very clear I need to roll the R to show that he's Irish. So it's Chris Bradigan. Anyway, that's pretty much who we have right now. I just wanted to welcome everybody. And yeah, let's get to that, Matt. Everybody wants to know, tell us about today. How did the event go with Jeremy Ruckert and the Jets Lounge?
It was so sick, and shout out to Sack Exchange and the guys over at the Jets Lounge. They did a phenomenal job putting that together, and Sack reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing this event on Long Island. He's like, you and Richie are more than welcome to come, and if you guys want to broadcast, that'd be really cool. So me and Richie decided, yeah, let's do it. Let's go live. And it was packed. There was a ton of Jet fans there. I think they had over 150 people in the restaurant. It was a really nice place. And the highlight of it, we got Bill Ruckert on, the legend himself. He was talking about just the experience of his son being drafted by the hometown team. It still hasn't really sunk in. He did a JETS chant, and it was a ton of fun. All my equipment's still in the car, so I'm just using my laptop. So if I look a little bit different, it's not all my lighting and everything is still downstairs. I literally got home like 10, 15 minutes before coming on here. So busy day, but it was so much fun. And again, thank you to Sack Exchange and the Jets Lounge guys for putting that together.
Those guys are changing things so rapidly in such a positive way, right? I mean, putting together these events, the draft party, this event, and now we all get to meet each other at the opener and have this incredible experience. And we're actually going to get to meet a couple of former Jets. It's just ridiculous what Steve has done.
Yeah, I can't wait for opening night and to get everyone there, as a big group. I think it's going to be so much fun. We had a lot of fun last year, and it wasn't even like we saw a lot of people, but it wasn't a combined, collaboration. This is everyone all in one spot. We're going to be in a suite. It's going to be beautiful. And we were talking a lot about that tonight. He's got big plans for that. So should be a lot of fun in September coming up.
Oh man, I cannot wait. It's gonna be great. I haven't been to a Jet game I haven't been to a Jet game in 11 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wait. 11 years. So you haven't, the last time you were at a game, they were somewhat relevant. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, but it was my 40th birthday. My wife surprised and got me tickets, and they freaking lost a regular season game. It was the year after that relevancy. It was year 3 for Sanchez, and that was when they started losing games to teams like Miami. And that was the game, and it was like kind of a wet day. And it was like, but luckily I was under a rafter or whatever, so I was dry. But I actually got lucky because it wasn't that cold. It was just more rain. But it sucked that they lost. It was like an absolute suck, on that. I thought for a second, I don't think I've ever seen them win in New Jersey, but I did see them beat San Diego in the playoffs. So I don't think I'm jinxed.
Yeah, and you're in the same spot that I am, because I think I only went to 4 games at the Meadowlands. I've never been to MetLife Stadium, but I have been to 2 playoff games. I went to both games in Indianapolis. So that one game that I had, getting to see that wild card game, I don't think I've ever felt my body shake the way it did as Nick Folk was lining up for that last field goal. It's like, I cannot take a second loss in this stadium in a row. Even the shrimp cocktail with that amazing cocktail sauce in Indianapolis, it is not going to make up for the pain that I'm going to feel if this field goal misses. And I remember I fell to my knees as that field goal went through. And next thing I know, I'm doing airplanes throughout the concourse. It's amazing security didn't try to tackle me because I was a jerk that day, and I make no apologies for it because I was still bitter about the AFC Championship game. So
yeah. And Matt gets to go to games more often, but that what you told us last year, man, I would never go to a game if it took 4 hours to get home. I hope we get to hang out in that lounge until that stadium is emptied.
Yeah, I tried to outsmart myself here. I got a room at the hotel not too far away. So my plan is I'm staying actually Saturday and Sunday. So I'm staying Saturday so that I could literally walk across the street, so I don't have to worry about driving, and then just, I don't know, get obliterated at the game if I want to, and then walk back across the street and do my post-game live stream. But yeah, it'll just be a lot easier. It took 3 hours just to get over the George Washington Bridge. It was awful, but this will make the experience a lot better. And I was like, yeah, might as well treat yourself.
That's awesome. I actually purposely set it up that I flew into Newark, and my buddy lives in Staten Island near the Outer Bridge crossing. But as it turns out, I'm going to be and I found out that Sack Exchange lives in Staten Island. That's where Green Bean's staying. So I said to Green Bean, hey, if my buddy drops me off where you're staying, can I ride in with you? I'll pay for the parking pass. And he was all about that. So I'm actually going to ride in with Green Bean. So even if we get stuck and we're in traffic, the 2 of us in a car, the talking will make time go by because we don't shut up,
Yeah, I need a live stream of that, I think.
a live stream of us in the car talking.
Yeah.
I might do it. Maybe that's a really good idea.
Because it's just basically I'm the mosquito and he's like swatting me away.
Exactly. It would be
That's quite the
perfect.
image.
It's like, shut this kid up. And I'm like, I'm 2 years older than you.
And we got a few more folks hopping in the chat. We got Dom C. We got Dark Soldier. The A team is coming out here. You gotta love it. And Dom got his autograph from Jeremy already, so that's pretty good. Well, now you need both Jeremys. You need Ruckert and you need Jets Chaos. I mean, there are two Jeremys that are prominent in Jets fan lore now. So
yeah, that
you can't have one without the other.
That would be funny. Dom C coming to me for an autograph. He's rolling over right now on the floor in pain. So that's cool. So tell us about Jeremy Ruckert's family, like him. Like I think I saw a tape of his dad there. It looked like his dad was leading a Jets chant before, things like that.
His dad is like everything we saw from the draft night videos, like that's him in real life. Like that wasn't a show. He was just like he was blown away. He's like, it still hasn't sunk in. It was really cool too. Jeremy's younger brother came up to me and Richie and was like, hey, like I was watching you guys even before Jeremy got drafted. He's like, appreciate what you guys do. And I was like, that really blew me away. I was like, that's really freaking cool.
Wow.
But everyone was so nice. They were so nice and friendly. You know, they were shaking hands with people, taking pictures. You know, everyone there got a signed poster. It was awesome. They were definitely into it, and like, you know, they get it. Like they're Long Island Jet fans, like every single person there. So they, you know, they were very accommodating, and they did a really nice job with it. And because, you know, sometimes you get these guys and they're, I don't know, a little full of themselves, or they could be a jerk, but he was very down to earth, and it was a lot of fun.
You know, I always get worried about those type of autograph appearances because, you know, they'll stop signing after an hour or an hour and a half, or they'll draw numbers and you have to show up early enough for, you know, you become SOL. But it sounds like everybody got what they wanted and everybody seemed to leave happy and satisfied, huh?
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say, and it's probably fitting for this week of the storylines that were coming out. Everyone leaving happy and satisfied.
Oh God. And did you get to meet anybody that came to the event that you hadn't met before? You know, that follows your channel.
Yeah, well, if you believe this, I've never met Richie before. That was the first time I've ever met Richie.
Wow.
He lives literally 10 minutes from me. He's in East Meadow. He's not far from me at all. But we've never met. We're going to do later in the summer. We're going to do, because we both have a Blackstone and we're obsessed with it. So we're going to do like a Jets cooking show and like a live stream from his backyard, cooking some stuff up on the Blackstone and talking Jets. But yeah, there was a bunch of guys on the Jets Lounge crew that I haven't met before. I met Sack, but pretty much everyone else. Benny, I met him. And there were people coming up to us and like, hey, you know, we watch your videos. You guys are doing a great job. There was this one guy, Green Bean's doppelganger was there. I swear to God, I thought it was Green Bean. He's wearing, he had a bushy gray and white beard and a white Jets hat. And I had to do a double take because,
oh my God,
I was like, dude, that looks exactly like Green Bean. And then someone else came up after and was like, yeah, I saw this guy over there and I thought it was Green Bean, but then I remembered like he's down in Virginia. And I said, literally, I just said this to Richie. Like it was so funny.
That's amazing. And I want to tell you, if you ever did a cooking video with Richie, it's too bad I don't live anywhere nearby anymore, because I would be the perfect person to have sitting at the table waiting to eat, being that that's my reputation.
Maybe we might have to fly you in for that.
Shoot, I'll take the train up for that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Kidding me?
So I love it. I love this when I get things like this. Could you ask Matt if he knows when Dexton's photo was taken?
Yeah, and make sure your salmon turns out a little bit better looking than Mike LaFleur's, and don't feed it to Denzel Mims, and I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, hard agree there. The picture that was posted yesterday, right? I think that was from. I think I saw that it was from June.
Yeah, I heard June 20th or 21st. It's been about 3 weeks now.
That's why you can't trust a grainy cell phone from 100 yards away when a guy is fully suited and bent over stretching.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I'm so over the Mekhi Becton discourse with the weight. I just want it to be training camp so we know at that
I know.
point, you know?
And just remember, 8 days till rookies report to training camp. It doesn't
Yeah.
seem real, but it's only 8 days away, guys. 1 week, and we're gonna have actual things to talk about. I can't wait for it.
It's been, man, you guys, now I know why the panel took off last year. This has been like, I can't even explain. Like, this is nothing to talk about.
And then and then it usually devolves into hot sauce and pizza.
Oh, I'm here for that too. We can get into that.
We ended up doing. What do you think we did on Saturday of the draft when I came onto the panel with these guys? All we did was talk about food, and I'll never forget our face. And someone pointed out in the chat how I looked. It looked like I looked over at Matt when we were talking about the best French fries, and Ryan said that Burger King French fries are better than McDonald's.
So I have an exclusive for the Jets Chaos channel. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't post it. I should have, but Ryan texted in the group chat with me and Green Bean recently, like a week or two ago, and said he had Burger King for the first time in a while. And he said, I was sorely mistaken. These fries are ass.
No shit.
You're right. I said, we told you this months ago.
Yeah. I mean, I was, when I was a kid, someone told me, because we always lived in Canarsie. We had, and it's funny because it's a McDonald's now, but closest to my house, we had a Burger King, and we didn't really have McDonald's like when you were a kid. It was like too far, like for kids that are 10, 11 to get to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't like part of our life. Like we would always go to Burger King and then go to Carvel. Burger King, Carvel. That was the thing to do. And McDonald's was a special treat because it was different. But well, so I wasn't McDonald's educated, but when I was a teenager, when my brother was getting married, all his best friends, and bridesmen came in, and we were going up to the Poconos, and I was getting a lift from one of them, and he said, "Of course, we're going to stop at a McDonald's for fries." And I was like, "Well, what's the big?" I was like, of course I love food, so I'm like, "Cool, but why specifically McDonald's?" And he goes, "It's the best fries in the world, man."
It's true.
And then I started.
We don't know if they're potatoes, but they do make them taste good, from what I hear. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they've seen a potato in a while, but
yeah. I mean, obviously, you can make the argument that if you're in Coney Island, the French fries at Nathan's is the best. But
but you got to get them at Nathan's. I mean, you can't. That's one French. You can't get that out of the frozen food section, like the frozen Nathan's fries.
No.
It's nowhere near the same. And to me, I want the thin Nathan's fries, because if they're too thick, they're like a sponge. Because you got to get the crispiness and you got to get that pillowy, soft inside on both. If you don't have both of those, you don't have a good French fry, in my opinion.
When I was a kid, there was only 3 Nathans busy enough to be good, like the original, because the regular little outlets, they weren't busy enough that they were fresh. But it was the original one, obviously in Coney Island, the one in Kings Plaza, and then the one in Sunrise, I think it was, on Sunrise Highway, like in between Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island, like right there. There was a giant Nathan's with an arcade, and that one was always packed, so it was really good.
Okay. Yeah, there was one. There's a Nathan. It moved like maybe a few years ago, but there's a Nathan's in Oceanside that was like there forever, and it had like an arcade and stuff like that too. But yeah, it's got to be. I'm with you. I don't like the Nathan's fries when they're like floppy. It's got to be like done really well,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Extra crispy on those fries. No doubt about it. Although if I got to go with one French fry the rest of my life, I got to go Five Guys, fresh cut, and I need the Cajun seasoning. The only problem is if you go by yourself, you won't be able to move for about a day and a half, because a little fry is like an extra large fry anywhere else. It's just ridiculous how much they give you, but they're so good.
Now,
I think it's the peanut oil. I think the peanut oil and the fresh potatoes and the seasoning, they put all three come together. It's magical.
This might be a trick question because Braden's from New Zealand. So when he says, "What's your favorite pie?" Is he asking about meat pies? Is he asking about, like, in my
J. Cole invading? Is J. Cole invading? What's going on here? We're getting food questions.
in my language, being a New Yorker, growing up in Brooklyn, when someone said, "What's your favorite pie?" I always say, "I just want a plain cheese pie." Right. Like that's how I'd answer that question. I'd be thinking they'd be asking me about pizza. Maybe they were asking me which place, so I might say Originals. But I don't know what it means from Braden because he's from New Zealand. But
I interpreted this as like dessert pie. That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. Yeah, that's what
Which
everybody's
if
He's probably
that's the
thinking meat
case,
pies. I think, yeah, down
yeah.
there, I think they're talking about meat pies.
I
Yeah,
don't know if I've ever had a meat pie.
That's the big thing in Australia and New Zealand. They love their meat pies, you know. So, yeah, meat pie. Yep, Braden just yeah, he was talking about
yeah.
a meat pie.
So imagine this. Imagine you had these like what were chicken pot pies,
Mhm.
but it was filled with different kinds of meats and stews and all these wonderful concoctions. I've had these, by the way. So what would you want yours filled with?
It's
Imagine a
kind of like
chicken
an
pot pie. It's
empanada.
not a
It's the idea of an empanada, but maybe a little bit
yeah.
bigger. It's that kind of a thing.
Okay. Um, yeah, I guess so. Like the chicken pot pie counts. I guess. Yeah. I guess that would be a meat pie, right? That was dumb
Yeah,
of me.
well, just imagine it with not as soupy though, like more chunky with just potatoes and the chicken, but that flavor, sure.
Okay. So yeah. So I'd probably go like something basic then, like the chicken. I guess.
Okay. I always, when it comes to these things, I always lean to breakfast. Like
Huh.
I always lean to like sausage and eggs or bacon and eggs mashed up
Mm.
with like I'm always a breakfast guy when it comes to things like that. But to be honest though, if I'm in New Zealand or Australia, I'll be trying every kind of pie. So
There you go.
I'll be eating them all day long. So but I don't know. I don't know what if they have like that. But chicken pot pie was always my favorite thing. Anytime it was like in a restaurant, I'd order it. And I was just always disappointed when it was only the top of the dough and it wasn't like fully like everywhere because I love scraping the dough off the aluminum foil on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like the treat at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's move on to Becton. Now, someone was asking about like the picture thing. We're tired of talking about him. And I agree with you, Matt. Like, I just want everyone to shut up and just let the kid play.
Yeah.
It's like, shouldn't that be the answer? Shouldn't it be like, let's stop talking about it? We watch camp. When the preseason starts, we'll get the reports from people. How does he look? The one thing though is how concerned were you last year when all the reports about Lawson beat him for a sack again, Lawson beat him for 2 sacks, for 3 sacks. Were you concerned about Becton at that point, or do you think that has to just do it practice and it's meaningless?
Yeah, I don't really like looking too much into the practice stuff, especially in training camp. I think that stuff's a little bit overrated, but I wasn't really super concerned with it. And realistically, for him, like a guy like Lawson's a mismatch in heaven for him. Like that would be brutal, considering that the speed guys usually get the better of him because of Becton's size. But Becton did hold his own against some pretty steep competition in 2020.
Mhm.
But I think just specifically like Lawson is the type of rusher that you'd really see a guy like Becton struggle with because of his size. But, you know, again, I didn't really read too much into it. And I'm confident that if he comes back healthy this year, that he's going to look like he did as a rookie and be a pretty damn good player. Whether that's on the left side or the right side, I think is still yet to be decided. If I had to guess, I think he's probably moving to the right side. But again, I just want to see this guy on the field, man. I'm tired of talking about the weight.
Yeah, when I think about strengths, player strengths, it wouldn't shock me if he was on the right side.
Yeah.
I could see that. And to me, at this point, the more I think about Becton, this is his make or break year. I think the one thing that encourages me is that they had an opportunity to draft a top level offensive tackle with one of those first 2 picks. They did not do that. They addressed other needs. They have not signed a Riley Reef or that type of player. All they did was they drafted Max Mitchell, who, if all goes well, this is going to be a redshirt season for him. I think he's going to be one of those names you see on the inactive list every Sunday. So to me, I want to see Becton. I want to see Becton versus Lawson. Let's see the rematch. I want to see that day one when we have the offense against the defense in these scrimmages, because these are 2 players that we need if we're going to have a good season. Not that we want them to do well. No, this is a legitimate need. The pass rushing of Carl Lawson and the blocking of Mekhi Becton. And the other thing that's kind of funny to me, they were talking about last year. Remember a year ago, Becton, Vera Tucker, the Super Smash Brothers, How long did that last? About 45 seconds before the injury started. So now, if you put Tomlinson on the left side, okay, and now AVT is on the right, do you want to put George Fant? Do you want to keep Fant next to AVT because that works so well? But now you'd be doing it on the right side as opposed to the left side. And Matt, I'm curious what your opinion is on this. Let's say you have Fant and AVT together. It worked quite well last year. Do you think there would be any type of hiccup with adjusting from left side to right side, or do you think it would be a pretty seamless transition?
I'm not really too worried about him transitioning over to the other side, just because, like he did it in college. He played all over the line at USC, and for me, like I just think that he's someone who's so versatile. He played tackle and guard, and thrived at both at USC. So I think he's going to be able to move over to that side and be more than capable. And like then you're going to get that connection back that everyone wanted. The Becton and AVT duo. We all thought it was going to be on the left side, but now it looks like it's probably going to be on the right side of the offensive line. And I mean, just those two units in the run blocking game, I think is going to be really fun.
I am very confident in trust now. I have trust and faith. Whatever it works out being, it's going to be what gives us the best offensive line. Like I'm going to trust them because they're the ones watching and they're the experts, and I'm not going to pretend to know more than them. So whatever they do, I think we're in a good situation because they're all really good. I love the versatility that they could play on either side. All of them, all four could be rotating around. You even got AV2 could move into a tackle if he had to in a pinch. I mean, it's a pretty cool situation. I'm just really excited about, if they could stay healthy, what it's going to mean for this team. It's just there's just no weak link. Even Connor McGovern is not a weak link. He's a upper half of the league center. He looks like he might be a weak link on that line, compared to all the excitement about the other players and their potential. But the reality is it's not an issue center. Like it's definitely we're fine at center.
And there's one other big piece of this offensive line that we haven't talked about and doesn't get enough love from a lot of people, and that's Coach John Benton. I have a lot of faith that he is going to, and really, the first time I really got to hear him talk was when he was breaking down Laken Tomlinson when they were talking about free agency on Flight 2022, and he broke down. I think it was close to it was about 20 traits that he liked in Tomlinson. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is so detailed. He knows exactly what he wants in his offensive lineman. And he, this box checked, this box checked, this box checked. It's like this guy could turn an average offensive line into a good one. I think this year, if these pieces are all together, this can be a legitimate top 5 offensive line in the league. However you want, whatever qualifications you have, whatever your standards are, we know it's not going to be PFF because we can't trust them. But I think if the offensive line becomes the most trustworthy unit on this team this coming season, well, I think that's going to speak a lot about this offense, and I think that's something we'd all be happy with.
Yeah, I agree with that. And obviously the big thing this year is developing Zach. And I think having, like you said, if it's a top 5 offensive line, that's going to go a long way to helping your second-year quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, every little glimpse of Zach that we got when he was getting even just average protection, look at the production in those situations, because it's really hard. I mean, if you really look back, I was watching a lot of plays from last year and trying to pay attention to that. When people, especially the first bunch of games, were like breaking through the line, he was getting under 2 seconds before the pressure started coming at him. Those were one set of numbers. But when you look after he came back from injury and they had figured out the scheme and the blocking was a little bit better and he had any amount of time, it's a different quarterback. Like the production was much better. So, and then what was great was when he didn't have the protection, he got smarter. He protected the ball.
Yep, knowing when to take chances, knowing when to throw the ball away. That's something that some of our young quarterbacks have never figured out. And Zach Wilson has made notable jumps in his first to second year in high school and his first to second year in college. And now we also know why he went to a school called the Cougars, but that's another story that I'm sure we'll get to. But I don't see any reason why he can't make that same kind of a jump year one to year two in the NFL, especially thank God he's got the same staff that he had first year. Because look at a Baker Mayfield, look at a Sam Darnold, look at all the coaching changes that they went through. That can't help any quarterback's development. I'm not saying if you have Adam Gase, you stick with him. That's not my point. But I am saying if you have to learn a whole new set of signals, a whole new set of plays, that's time being taken away from learning your receivers, learning, and developing that timing that so many of these, some of the best quarterbacks, they get that. So I am excited that Mike LaFleur gets a second straight year with Zach Wilson. I hope it's going to be quite a few years for those two, because it seems like it's a match that can work very well.
C comes in and says, how do you guys see the breakdown in DB snaps? How much will Bryce Hall get? Safety snaps? Well, I'm not the greatest with percentages in that, because I don't have a good understanding in my head of what percentage of plays are passing downs or running down. I personally think, and I think we'd have to look to how often last year did they play a 4-2-5? Because to me, that's the answer for Bryce Hall. Like anytime we're bringing in extra backs, anytime it's third and long, passing situations, all kinds of situations like that, where we have more backs on the field, and they have, because they're bringing in a lot of receivers. If it's a quick offense, quick 2-minute drill, that kind of thing, when they have all those receivers lined up in all those situations, I think Bryce Hall will be on the field.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Jeremy. I think it's going to be in those type of situations where they're in the dime packages and stuff like that. It's not going to be nearly what it was the last couple of years. And I've seen like maybe these questions before with maybe moving him to safety. I'd be surprised if they did that. I think they liked Pinnock there in, making that move and trying him out at safety. But I would be really surprised if they did it with Bryce. And unfortunately, like injuries are a part of the game too. So you need to have some, capable depth guys. And I think both Eccles and Bryce Hall provide that.
Yeah, no defensive player played more snaps last year for the Jets than Bryce Hall. I think that's one of the most interesting stats that I can give you as far as that goes. The thing that disappoints me, though, he hasn't really done anything to get demoted.
That's phenomenal. I'm sorry.
I couldn't resist.
I'm glad that I just get to be in the background on that. But but yeah, I mean, Reed was signed to be starters. Sauce was drafted to be a starter. But as much as the league nowadays is about stopping the pass, and as weak as the Jets are probably weaker at linebacker than they are any other position. The only other one you can really go at is safety, because they do have CJ Mosley, and I still like Mosley in his role. It's hard to imagine to me that somebody is going – I just don't imagine that they're going to take a cornerback and move him to free safety unless they feel they totally have to. And I'm including both Hall and I'm including MC2. I think they're going to try Pinnock. I think they're going to try Joyner. And let's see if one of them is good enough to play the majority of the snaps. So I think it's going to be the two of them. It's like, let's not get too – I don't want to get too cute here. Carter was very good at what he did last year. Bryce Hall was very good at what he did last year. Play to the strengths of your players. Mike LaFleur figured that out over the course of the season as he switched away from playing two tight ends because he didn't have the personnel to do it. Let's see Jeff Ulbrich be smart enough to do the same thing. Figure out who your best players are and figure out how to accentuate the positives.
I like it. I had a dream. Well, I've read a lot of speeches that started with those words, or at least
is this
one
a
of them.
Flashback or a dream? I don't know what this is.
The Jets made it to the AFC Championship game and lost to the Broncos. Well, guess what, Snowball? I lived your dream in 1998. It didn't, and it wasn't a good dream.
No.
The first half was a good dream, but the second half was not a good dream. Look, if this really happened, of course I'd be sad that day that it happened, but I'll take it. Like, I'd be very happy if we made the AFC championship game and lost this year, because I think that would mean that a lot of things hit and worked out for us.
I just want to know who we beat on the way to get there.
Yeah,
Who do we
exactly.
win those first two playoff games against?
I met Snowball today, by the way. He was there at the event. Great
Oh,
guy.
cool.
Yes, he even gave us me and Richie his ticket. I almost said lottery ticket, not the lottery ticket, but the raffle ticket. Unfortunately, we did not win, but it was very nice to meet Snowball.
That's cool that you met him. So I wonder if Snowball's going to the game. And we're going to meet a lot of people that day for sure. Do you happen to know? Or did you meet him? So would you know? You know if you met him or not. But he may have been there and you didn't meet him. But Garrett Ham.
I know that name from just Twitter and YouTube and stuff, but I don't think I've met him, and I'm not sure if he was there or not.
Okay, we'll get to meet him on the 11th. He's a good guy, so
okay.
I'm looking forward to meeting him. I just thought he might be there today. All right, so the other thing in the news, the other item in the news that's been going around, as you all know, is the whole Zach Wilson thing. I gotta say, I know a lot of people are really like joking around and think it's a great thing, good thing. I'm relieved that it's not a bad thing. I'm relieved that it didn't have a negative spin. But I'm going to be honest. I kind of wish it was nothing, like it didn't happen. Only because it's just like, is this the end of it? Is something going to come out now? Like, I'd rather would have just had no story than this story, even though it's been fun and it's funny. I'm kind of just like, oh, I don't, I just want to think of Zach Wilson, the guy that's watching film all day and working hard on his career. I don't want to see him become this guy that's out there, on TMZ or whatever, making those kind of news,
Why do you hate fun, Jeremy?
Because he lives in Sacramento and people don't have fun there.
I had fun with it, but I don't know. I get nervous about these little things. I'm like, oh no, what if he becomes this big womanizer kind of thing, and like, is it going to lead to him getting in trouble and accused of things? And
what if he gets mono?
Exactly.
What if he gets caught eating a hot dog on the sideline? This sounds like the Mark Sanchez trajectory,
right?
Let's be honest, because it's the Jets, these things get so overblown. I mean, come on. If this happened to you name the guy, if this happened to Davis Mills, would anybody be talking about this? It would have been done in about 30 seconds. Well, Jake Asman would have talked about it for a few seconds since he's down in Houston. But other than that, I think it would be a complete non-story. So, hey, nobody broke the law. Dax Milne may have broke man code a little bit. I will say that by dating his supposed best friend's buddy. I hoped he went to him and asked permission first. That's the least thing that you could do if you're the guy's best friend. But I think Milne comes out looking worse than anybody. Oh, and this was my favorite. Somebody actually put on Facebook, wow, next year the AFC East plays the NFC East. It's going to be the Jets and the Commanders. It's going to be a revenge game. What's going to happen when Wilson and Milne are in the same building together? Dax Milne's not going to be he's going to be in the XFL next season. So get out of here with that. Stop it.
Well, Dark Soldier lives in Utah, so this is not a shock to hear that there's a connection here. So he's saying his VP is Dax's direct uncle and has the same name. So, and he was fishing, and then all of a sudden his name blew up in the media.
Oh, for the first time in his life.
I don't know. I think the real story here, though, I mean, the Zach part is really fun and funny, but I think the real story is that we should be talking about, and we should see people, screaming about on these shows, is this guy Dax broke bro code.
Yeah, scummy move. That was a scum move. I don't know how, like, going in, what did they expect to happen when they went Instagram official? Like, you had to know that something bad was going to come of that, right?
It's amazing when people get heated and they type without thinking, right? We've seen some of the messages people come up with that clearly are coming from emotion and not from, let me stop and really think about if hitting the enter key is a smart thing to do right now.
We've all been there. Most of us have been there even on this show.
Yes.
I honestly believe that she probably didn't know when she when him putting the picture up is crazy. If he didn't know there were going to be people attacking him, like if he didn't realize that people are going to say, "Yo, dude, that's messed up,"
Yeah, and like, what are they going to take? No one was going to take their side. Like, I thought it was like she thought she dropped that bomb and was like, oh, this will get us, the people back on our side. And then it rallied them even more.
It's so funny that NBA players got involved.
Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, Elijah got involved. Lakin got involved. I mean, it's several Jets got involved, and a couple other athletes. I don't know. The biggest thing Sam Darnold ever had was LeBron James basically knighting him after that long touchdown run on Monday Night Football in Denver. If you remember that, like LeBron James was going goo goo gaga over Sam Darnold for about a minute. This is a little bit more Mark Sanchez-esque. Let's put it that way, except Sanchez never had the talent, in my opinion, that Zach Wilson does.
You could also say she's from Utah, so she thought that saying he cheated on me with his best friend's mom would be looked upon as outrage and disgust. And she didn't realize he plays for the New York Jets. That's of course we're going to just bow down and say, and hopefully he'll be like Derek Jeter and just, because Derek Jeter was very smart about that. He didn't get married until he stopped playing.
Right.
Very smart decision.
Very.
Because
I agree with that.
Right? The second you get married, then it's like taboo. Then it is taboo.
And it's over, yeah.
Here's the ultimate question. Yeah, so here's the thing that we got to wonder about. When Zach Wilson has his first press conference, when he comes back, which beat reporter is going to be the one to ask him the questions about this whole drama?
No, I don't think any of them will.
You think maybe a TMZ reporter will sneak their way in, though? Somebody's going to, page 6, somebody's going to show up, though. Someone's got to.
I think it'll be like one of those cheesy talk shows. You remember he went on that cheesy talk show and they asked about his mom and how he felt about.
Oh, yeah, he was on with Carton and Roberts. Yeah, he was on WFAN.
I could see it being a show or someone like that that's going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think Zach's going back on with them. not after the last appearance. I don't think that's about to happen.
No.
So we'll put it this way, unless the Jets said ahead of time, football questions only, there will not be follow-up. This topic is off limits. But hey, Rex got asked about the whole foot fetish video. He got asked about that. And that was like the one time when he got quiet. He's like, that's personal. That's personal. That was like the only time ever Rex got tight-lipped about something. So
that's an all-time video. That's just added to the list of crazy things.
Oh my God.
And then I still will never forget. I know we're going all over the place, but then Wes Welker basically mocks it before the playoff game, keeps talking about my best foot forward, shoes on the other foot, and then Belichick benches him for the first quarter of that game. That's something that I feel.
Right. I forgot.
He was benched.
He did do that.
And for no other reason. It's like, oh my gosh. Was it really just over this? Because that is just, I couldn't believe that. But that went a long way to helping the Jets in that game. Benching Wes Welker.
That's he doesn't want like that kind of nonsense in the trash talking. I think it's stupid when players trash talk in the media before games. It's like, why would you give them something to hang on their locker?
Yep, I agree. The same way. You're better off just being quiet, save it for the field.
Yeah, like I remember like when the Knicks would have their battles with Indiana and Spike Lee would be taunting Reggie Miller. It's like, I was like, why isn't the city killing this guy? Why doesn't the city want to kill this guy to shut him up? It's like, because every time he taunted Reggie Miller got better and better. The highlight of his career was against the Jets, and it was because of Spike Lee, because he just would totally pump him up.
Mm-hmm.
So annoying.
And even to this day, Spike Lee still gets glorified as like the ultimate Knicks fan. When the hardcore Knicks fan, he's about the last guy we want to see at these games. Ever since he started going to Brooklyn Nets games, he was going to the playoff games. That's like, no. This is not a Zach Wilson situation where you can root for multiple teams. You have been identified as a Knicks fan for almost 20 years. You cannot turn like that and go to another. You could go to the game, but you sure as hell better not be wearing a jersey. And he did that. And that is a cardinal sin. A cardinal sin.
Michael Clemens showing up to Dax's house.
What I would give. Matt, this was the scenario. I mentioned this before. This is the scenario that I wanted. We got to get Boy Green into do a press conference, and he's got to interview Michael Clemens one-on-one.
Yeah. That would be, yeah. Oh my God.
Would that not be
Imagine those
epic?
two. Yeah.
Oh my
How much
God.
higher could his voice possibly go?
I'm just wondering how aware like a guy like Becton is. Bring Becton back up just for a second though, about what guys say. Like, does he know? Do you think he's aware of the kind of tweet that he that he didn't go to OTAs and has no excuse? Like, did
he knows.
do you think he's aware of that?
If he doesn't follow it himself, I could tell you his mother does, because his mother's quite active on social media. He's got a pretty big family. Many people in the family. I didn't mean they were all big, but that I didn't mean it that way. But yeah, he knows everything. That's why why else would he wear the Big Boss shirt?
Yeah.
For no other reason. He talks back at people. I'm not going to get in my whole thing with him again, but yeah, he knows what people are saying, and he's not one of these people who tweets and ignores the mentions. He's all over this stuff. And in a way, if that gives him motivation to be the best player he can possibly be, great. He can block all of us. I have no problem with that. But if this shows how sensitive, if this reveals that he's mentally sensitive, he's not going to last in New York, and he's certainly not going to last in the National Football League. You have to be tougher than that, than worry about what we're saying, because we just do this shit for fun. We love this team. We're just doing it's entertainment. It's entertainment that we're doing, but we are devoted to this team, and it's all because we want this team to be the best it could possibly be. And we know Mekhi Becton is a linchpin to seeing the Jets, to making the Jets go back to where we want them to go, the playoffs and to the Super Bowl, because he is that capable. And at the end of the day, we want the best for him. But if we want it more for him than he wants it for himself, that is scary.
Yeah, I think he wants to be great, and I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I can't wait.
Let's shoot. Let's see it. Let's see it.
I can't wait.
July 28th.
Yep. Well, on 9/11 too, when we're really gonna see it. I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm planning on to I don't know how I'm gonna do it for everyone, but I'm gonna try to focus in on players and really watch them. I think when we're on defense, I'm really gonna watch Sauce a lot.
Okay, I always try to do that, and then I forget. I'm going and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch and then I somehow, my attention span's not the best, so I feel like I just follow the ball too much.
Yeah, we got to get everybody's got to get the talking to each other and meeting each other out of the way beforehand, because it's no, I can't get all of a sudden start getting into conversations with people and missing the game. No, I'm I want to see these guys. Maybe I'll pick different guys, different plays. I'll look at Jermaine Johnson a little bit, see what he does when he's in on a third down and passing situation. But I really want to just watch Gardner, man, because I think it's going to be fun to watch him. Because I used to do that and focus in on Revis. And I just want to see what does it look comparatively from my memory of watching Revis, and
I feel like on defense for me, it takes a very special player for me to lock in on one defensive player. Because typically the focus is on the offense. It feels like it always goes to the quarterback and maybe a running back or one wide receiver. But especially with the Jets, when they're rotating the players like they do on the defensive line, you really have to pay attention to who's on the field in a given situation. On a 1st and 10, who are they playing? On a 3rd and 1, who are they playing? And how is that going to change over time? So how we know they're going to rotate the defensive lineman, but how they're going to rotate it in a given situation is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and take care talking with Jets. Tigo, give that baby a little snuggle for me.
Looking forward to your next video, Tigo.
Yeah, I mean, and I say it now, but you're right. I mean, the how am I going to watch Gardner if the play's not to him? I'm going to want to see what's going on in the game.
It's kind of hard to watch Revis when they would never throw the ball his way, and then the ball goes somewhere else on the field, right? So that adds that little complication to the mix. But I don't know. Hey, when you're in the suite, hey, you can watch whoever you want.
Yeah.
We're living large.
It's exciting. That place looks really nice from the video. So
It's like, and we have our own private bar for our group. So, like there's a whole bar in there and everything. I don't know how the food works, but we'll figure it out because I'll figure out how the food works. I'll be the one that runs in and says, "Guys, there's a hot dog guy." I'll be, I'll be that guy. It's like if you're wondering where to find some kind of specific food item, Matt, you just come to me because by the end of the first quarter, I'll have the whole thing figured out.
Love it. That's why we keep you around, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's my job. Unbelievable. And hey, so I never got your take on this, Matt. What do you think about the opportunity? Like, if he's really good in camp, do you think there's going to be an opportunity for Mims to get onto the field and contribute?
I think best case scenario for him this year is in that wide receiver 5 role to start. And then if there's an injury, I think that would be when he could potentially get that opportunity. There's just so many bodies in front of him now. But if he looks, better like he did as a rookie, and I think if he continues to improve in both practice and in game situation when he's called upon. Last year, when in the rare chances that he did get, he didn't look good. There were drops, there were penalties, mental mistakes, running the wrong routes. Maybe he ends up being someone who you feel comfortable moving on from Corey Davis after this year because he's, do a nice chunk of change, and they have some younger guys on this team where you could feel confident and say, all right, maybe we'll move on from Corey Davis because we like what we saw out of Denzel this year as a nice bounce back, and we could have Denzel be the bigger body guy to go along with Braxton Berrios and to go along with Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. So I think that's really like the best case scenario. Worst case scenario for him is it's just, a repeat of last year, more of the same. And then I think he's unfortunately on his way out of here. But, I said this on the live stream tonight. It's very hard to teach 6'3" and 4.3 speed. That's very rare. The talent's there. He's just got to put it together mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a mental thing. There's no question about it because he's a phenomenal athlete and he's got just attributes people would dream about. So I think it has to do with the playbook and him being sick. And just being an educator, I've said it before and I'll say it a million times. He's probably a hands-on learner. He's probably learns from doing it. Not everybody can look at the chalkboard and learn it or look at the playbook. They actually have to just practice it, make the mistakes and do it. And I don't think he got a lot of opportunity in camp because of him being sick to do it. I'm hoping that that's what it is because now he's had the whole healthy year and he's been working really hard, supposedly. So if he comes in knowing the playbook and knowing the plays because he's been practicing them physically and actually doing it, then who knows what he could be. But man, it's like, you're right. I mean, there's just so many weapons in front of him. Like, who are you going to take off? There's so many proven guys, and they didn't draft Garrett Wilson at 10 to not give him an opportunity to play. Elijah Moore looks like he's going to break out. I think Corey Davis is going to come back and be much better than last year because I think he's going to eliminate the drops. I think that was kind of like an outlier thing for him. That's not normal of him. And then Berrios has lots of plays designed for him. And then you got tight ends who are going to be eating and getting to the ball. And then you got 2 running backs who can come out of the backfield and get the ball. I mean, it's just, there's so many weapons, like where it just seems like he's a guy fighting for a spot and then just has to hope for an opportunity. And if the opportunity because of injury presents itself, he has to step in and deliver.
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it, honestly, with how you just laid it out right there. And especially, I like the point you brought up, too, with Corey Davis. I thought it was such an outlier year from him last year from a drop perspective. That was never him in Tennessee. So I think we'll get a better version of him in 2022.
Yeah,
I've been one of the biggest Corey Davis defenders around. I've written articles about it. I've done videos about it. He's a guy I've been defending. I don't like. I hope he will stay around past the season. I don't like the idea of letting both him go and Mims go. in one season. But hey, if the Patriots can trade Harry to the Bears for a 7, there's quite a few teams that are bereft of wide receiver talent right now. You know, the Ravens are, in my opinion, are terrible at the wide receiver position. It would surprise me if after the season, if Mims does go, I could see a team like Baltimore taking him and, breaking him down, building him back up, and seeing what they can get out of him. The thing is, though, we have upgraded wide receivers so much. Now, of course, this is predicated on the first 4 being healthy. But Mims is only going to get so many snaps a game. Or put it this way, snaps where he's asked to do anything but block. So, he is in a very difficult situation where he's going to have a great preseason. Otherwise, and it's rare that I would say that about a player. It's like he has to show out in the preseason, but he'll be playing against the second stringers, probably the third stringers. He'll probably be behind DJ Montgomery again or somebody like that. But he is going to have to do something in those games, because if he can't do it there, he's not going to get a chance to prove it come the middle of September and going forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a guy who has to make the most of his opportunities now. There's no room for error. Like if he gets an opportunity, whether it's when he's playing in preseason, like whatever he does, he has to execute and do it really well now. I mean, you could, because of who's on the roster and like the position we're in, like there's not a lot of chances for him to screw up and lose confidence in the staff. But I hate it when people say that about Becton. Like, oh, this is the last chance. If it's not now, he's a bust. I'm like, what are you talking about? He had like an incredible rookie year, and then he got hurt the first game last year because someone fell on his knee. It's like, how could anybody be talking like Becton has something to prove or it's his last chance? And it's like the only thing we're hoping for Becton is that, for me, the thing we should be thinking about is just that his knee is better and that he's learned the system, because everybody else was lost that first game. So he never got the chance to really play in this blocking system. So that's my concern. Is he going to come in and be able to execute this scheme right from the start, or does he have to go through that whole learning curve? And is he going to be bad the first few games, or, is he going to be able to come in and execute it right away because he had this full offseason?
Well, if the Jets' offensive line didn't know what they were doing in game 1, let's hope and pray that the Ravens don't change all their jersey numbers around the morning of the game, because apparently that didn't do a whole lot to help matters either. I hope that's all it was. But I don't think Becton has anything to prove in terms of his potential, but I think he has something to prove to this coaching staff. I don't think that they believe in him all the way yet, and I think that is something that he now has to prove.
Yeah, I definitely think that he has. Obviously, Joe Douglas is a supporter. He drafted him, but this wasn't. It was Adam Gase then, and now, this isn't their guy, meaning LaFleur and Saleh. So I do think that he still has a lot to show them. I'm still a believer in him. I like Mekhi a lot, and I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. But his future isn't written in stone here because it wasn't this coaching staff. So I agree with that.
Yeah, it would be really disappointing if he doesn't. Like, he needs to come back and deliver. I put my neck out for this kid, so you better come. You better come over.
Yeah. And as down as people are on that draft class, as a lot of people are, if we can get 2 legit playmakers in Bryce Hall and Mekhi Becton, and of course our best tackler 2 years ago in Braden Mann, I still think that's a pretty credible draft class. And now there are a lot of picks there that didn't work out, but it's not the bust that people had in mind. That a lot of people still seem to think that it is. And to be honest, my expectations for Mims are minimal. I haven't given up on him, but to me, whatever you get out of him is going to be a bonus going forward. If you take it, great, but you cannot count on him. And I'm glad that the Jets are in a position where they have some depth at wide receiver, and they're not counting on a Denzel Mims like they're counting on, say, a Quincy Williams at linebacker to have a really good season, because he's a player that they are really counting on to be very good, but he has to prove he can do that every snap. What if
I love this question because one of the things I've been talking about all off season when it comes to Quincy is, he joined the team with no camp. So he just was thrown in there and he didn't have the camp to learn the system or whatever, And I thought he made some big plays, but I also thought he made some plays where he was out of position. And I was kind of thinking, what if now that he gets more comfortable in the defense, are we going to get a guy that's just that big play, big hitting guy? And how good can he be? So I think this is a great opportunity for people to get answers from Matt, because a lot of times on the panel, there's so many people that it's hard to get to ask him questions. So I'll let him answer this.
Yeah. For me with Quincy Williams, I think it's, I don't know, the inconsistencies last year were a little frustrating to me. I think that he is probably better suited in like a rotational kind of role. Because I think at times he was a little exposed when he was on the field, especially in coverage. But I do agree that him being, here for the whole offseason and like just getting more reps and here for training camp and stuff like that is going to help him. So if you're looking for maybe, I don't know if surprise candidate's the right word, but a candidate who could be like most improved on the defense, I think you could sell me on Quincy being most improved because the raw potential is there. It's just the inconsistencies with him. And for me, the coverage really gets to me. But he's all over the field. He runs he runs so quickly. It's just he's fun to watch and easy to root for. So I get this one. I get the love here.
Yeah. I think that's when I say, like, our season so depends on so many things clicking. And that's just one of those things. Like, is Quincy Williams going to take a big step forward and make less mistakes? And be more comfortable in the defense? Is Carl Lawson's ankle going to be okay? Is he going to be the guy that he was supposed to be before he got hurt? There's so many questions. Is Zach Wilson going to take that next step? Like, there's so many that it's almost a negative, or it is a negative, that there's so many questions, but there's also so much potential if it all happens. Like, if it all goes the right way, or a lot of it goes the right way, and then think about what we get to say at the end of the year for the future. Like, then we have known entities. We get to talk about, things more confidently, that we know what we have. I'm really excited about these questions, though. To me, it makes it really fun.
It doesn't seem like for the last decade or so we've had the same approach. Okay, if this goes right and this goes right and this goes right, maybe this team can be somewhere near 500. Maybe if everything goes completely perfectly, maybe they could be somewhat in playoff contention in December. I feel as though we could take a step up from that. Yes, we have a lot of things that we don't know about because we do have a lot of youth. We have a lot of new pieces. The coaching staff is not proven yet. We don't know what they are yet. But I think we have a higher ceiling now than we have had in many, many years. I think it's a situation where if everything goes right, you can make an argument this team can win 9 games and contend for that last wild card spot in a conference that is as loaded as I have ever seen in 30 plus years of watching football. There's only, I'd say, 2 teams, maybe 3 at the most, probably 2, that in the AFC that you can say they're probably not making the playoffs. And they both play in the AFC South, in my opinion, Houston and Jacksonville. And a lot of people, let's be frank about it, are going to put the Jets right in that same category. To which I say, let them. Let them. So that we know we are not going to get respect by the media or by around the country until we've earned it. So when the Jets finally do turn it around, it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. I have a good feeling if it doesn't happen this year, it's definitely going to happen next year when they are a legitimately exciting, respectable team. Because I could see a foundation, I could see a plan, I could see how one move has led to another move, has led to another move. How these draft picks make sense when you put them all together. These free agent signings as well. Who they're choosing to pay and who they're choosing to not pay, who they've chosen to let walk away. It's not just who you bring in, it's who you let go. And this is the first time I've seen that synchronization since the days of Mike Tannenbaum and Rex Ryan. And it's the overall organization focus that makes me as excited to be a Jets fan as I've been, I'd say, in over a decade.
Take care, Mark. Yeah, to me, it's just about taking the next step as a team and then understanding what, like, the why behind whatever our record is, right? So if we win 7 to 8 games, it's more than just, okay, we took a step, that's good. Now next year no, it's also, though, we win, let's say we win 8 games, we go 8-9. I still want to know, why did we go 8-9? Zach Wilson's the first thing I'm going to look at.
Yep.
Right? I mean, it has to be. You have to look at your quarterback. And it's like, if we went 8-9 because Zach Wilson was amazing and carried the team, even though we had other things fall through a little bit, that's much better than other things were working out, but Zach Wilson didn't take a step forward and he was the same quarterback he was his rookie year. That would absolutely suck.
I agree. I'd almost rather, like, if there was, let's use the 8-9 example, but let's say it was like Zach kind of looked the same and the defense looked really good. Or if, like, I don't know, the Jets won, let's say 6 games, but it was because the defense was giving up a ton of yards, but Zach Wilson looked like a top 15 quarterback. I think you're taking the 6-win season every time.
Oh, yeah. We'll fix the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to find like a good linebacker or a good safety than it is to find your franchise quarterback.
Mhm.
So sign me up for that. And if you have to replace the defensive coordinator, you do it. But better to put a Band-Aid than having to, a Band-Aid on an injury rather than having like amputate the limb or something like that. I know that's a little bit graphic, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say when I say that.
Right. And even though it would piss the hell out of Jet fans off, like if it happened and they'd be saying, "See, I told you," the best dream scenario is if we went 8-9, if we were in a position to say we could have very easily been 10 or 11 wins, but we lost 2 to 3 games because of the field goal kicker. Now, I know a lot of people would think, like, would be angry and cursing, and we need a field goal kicker. But personally, to me, that would be the best reason or the best thing in the world, because if we played really well and the only problem is that we missed some clutch field goals or we could have been a 10-win team, I'll be very, very happy.
Yeah.
Because we can fix that. We'll fix that. We'll get a field goal kicker eventually, like if that's the problem. So, like, to me, that's the best problem we could have. We could have won 10 or 11 games if we had a field goal kicker.
I'm trying to fathom the idea of the Jets' biggest problem being their kicker. That's right. When Doug Bryan was on the team and we thought we had to get a second-round draft pick to fix it. We've had a general manager who actually thought that was the biggest concern on the team. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why when everyone was screaming about field goal kicker last year, I was like, why does everybody care so much about a field goal kicker right now? We suck.
It's like you're in a haunted house, but you want to hang one chandelier up. Like all of a sudden, that's going to make it a valuable house.
Yeah, we could have lost 26. We could have lost 27-6, not 27-0.
Oh my God! Do you remember like some of those games when like I think it was like Todd Bowles or even Gase? They'd be down like 30-0, but they'd still kick a field goal. Just it's like, what are you doing? It's like this is supposed to give me like some pride as a Jets fan that we didn't get shut out. Oh my goodness! I mean, some of the in-game coaches we have had, it has been, oh my goodness, it has been abominable. Well, and we don't know what Saleh is as an in-game coach yet. We know the players love him. We know he can give a great speech. We know he can do that. And I do like that he seems to know when to go for it on 4th down and when he doesn't. I thought he did a good job with that last season. But the communication issues, like the timeouts, things like that, the delay of games, that is the stuff that has to stop, and it has to stop right now. We cannot be disorganized. We have to be ready for any situation. And that's the head coach's job to do.
It's interesting because one thing I want to say about Coach Saleh, it's a little bit more than just the speech, because let's also give him credit for this, especially as Jet fans. Nothing embarrassing came out of our locker room. Nobody broke anybody's jaw.
Yep.
There's no bickering. There's no people talking bad about other players. No infighting on the team. So at least he restored order in the sense that we don't have to be embarrassed. Like he's just like, it's like they're a team of play. They all say the right things at press conferences. They all seem to have the right attitude. They all seem to like each other. That's a good leadership thing. That's important. It starts there, because even when you get the talent, and even if you coach and call the right plays, it's a game of trust. You have to trust the people around you. Every play, right, is everybody executing their play, and you're trusting they're going to do what they have to do. So I think that he's starting a good foundation of that trust, that when these guys go on the field, they're going to feel and trust the guys around them.
And doesn't that go back to Joe Douglas? When he hired Robert
Mhm.
Saleh, I'm sure after he asked him how much do you love the game of football, I'm sure the next thing that came up was, what are you going to do in terms of building this team up? I mean, because Joe Douglas said from his opening press conference, he wanted to build the best culture in sports, not in the NFL, in sports. And he knew if you don't have a head coach who can bring players together and unite them around a common purpose, that's never ever going to happen. And that's why I think after he did that initial interview with Robert Saleh, him and Christopher Johnson, they knew immediately that that was the coach that they wanted. And that's why they were determined not to let him get out the door, even though he did for like a little bit, but then they wound up getting him the next day. So yeah, that's what I talk about, the whole synchronization situation between Douglas and Saleh. It means everything, because you cannot win. Certainly, you can't sustain winning. You might have one good season, but you cannot sustain winning for long while something like that is not working. Look at Brian Flores, perfect example. Why is he out of Miami? He was as. I mean, can you imagine if the Miami Dolphins still had Brian Flores and then had brought in Tyreek Hill? I think we'd be a lot more concerned of them than we are right now. Is that fair to say?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that their coach could be very good, but big question mark because he's never done it. Whereas Brian Flores, I thought was a good coach, and it was proven already. But the other thing is if they're switching, to our offensive scheme, we know that ain't easy. Like this scheme doesn't do well the first year in any team or city it was implemented. So if they're implementing this system, this offensive system, that's going to be a tough year for them just because of that, I think.
Agree.
Fair said.
So,
yeah, well said.
but final, who has the best bromance? Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, or Zach Wilson and Bryson Berrios?
It's all about what criteria you use to measure the level of romance.
I think it's Zach Wilson and Braxton. I think Braxton,
I got to agree,
just adores Zach Wilson. I think he loves him to death. And
it's like Braxton took Dax Milne's spot. I think Brax replaced Dax.
Yeah. I agree with you guys. It's the Zach and Braxton 1-2 punch, man. The picture of them hugging on Instagram was just everything, and I think this is gonna have to be the last one for me. I still gotta unpack some of this stuff over here, so I think I'm gonna run out. But it was a blast hanging out with you guys and answering some of these questions. And Jeremy, when you come over here, we're gonna have to do some food taste testing. I think that's the move.
Well, that's why I'm hoping you show up on Saturday to Coney Island, because there's going to be like, before you check into the hotel, are you planning on doing Coney Island at all?
Yeah, I gotta see. I don't have my September work schedule yet. Obviously, I'm taking off for Sunday, Monday. If I have an extra PTO day, I will use it for Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if you come, they'll be eating on that day. But otherwise, we'll figure it out at the stadium, whatever. We'll eat together. But thanks so much for coming on, Matt. I actually was, for a while now, I said I'm going to wait till I'm at 1,000 before I ask him like that.
Come on. You could have been at 50. I would have came on.
I know.
Well, Matt, you had to go through your agent. He had to go through your people. Actually, before you go, I gotta ask one more question. Casey, your dog is awesome. And when you do your preview videos, and the dog always goes like the same direction when it's like, who's going to win? If you're going to do that this season, do you have anything planned in mind to try to like even up the odds a little bit? Just because I want to see if Casey goes the other direction.
Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. Like, I don't just shuffle up the papers, maybe, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I have to really think about this because she always goes to the left now. She didn't always do that, but it just started this year where she always started going to the left. So I don't know. I'm going to brainstorm, though.
I
All
look
right.
forward to those. Yeah, because Casey looks like an awesome dog. So I had to mention that.
Thank
All
you.
right.
She's the best. But all right, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, take
All
care.
right, talk later, Matt.
Everybody in the chat, if you haven't subscribed yet, of course, you probably have. Matt O'Leary, he's the best. He is the, like I said, he's like the Paul Little Boy Green Esden was the Green Bean for me. So I'm sure everybody
he's
here.
a little bit like the bass player of the rock band. You know, you get the energy of Ryan and the little bit of wackiness of Green Bean, but Matt's there just keeping everything steady, keeping everything going, keeping everything focused. You got that's important.
That was absolutely super cool having Matt O'Leary on the channel. That was something I've thought about a lot when I started the channel, like one day kind of thing. I was lucky enough to have Green Bean do the first Wacky Wednesday show to help me kick off the show. He was our first guest. And now the first show after hitting 1,000, we have Matt O'Leary. That's really cool. We've had Buffalo Jets fan. I had Buffalo Jets fan when he was just a guy. You know, he was just some guy with like 300, 400 subs that was trying to get airtime.
he was like Eminon spelled backwards, if you get my drift back then.
Yeah. And then one day I'll be saying the same thing about Talking with Tigo. I had him on when he was just a guy. And hopefully I'll be saying that about New York Sports Wicker Media. And hopefully I'll be saying that about New York, proud New York Jets fan. But anyway, I guess the only one from the panel left is Ryan. We've had Harrison last week, which was great because that's CJ Harrison and Spotty. So that is pretty much.
You did have Richie on one time.
Who
did you have Richie on?
Richie from Jets Media.
Yeah.
No, I wish one day. Hopefully.
See, there's a name.
Yeah.
There you go.
That'd be great. I don't have much of a relationship with him, but maybe I'll talk to him at the game on 9/11 and strike up a friendship and maybe get him one day to do that and come on. But no, I never had Richie on. We've had Paul Esden on, so that's pretty awesome. He's popped in onto the Sunday show a couple of times, so he's been on the channel. It's a pretty cool thing, guys, because you have to understand these are people that I watched and really admired and liked and was a fan of, and to just be doing a show and them willing to come on it, it's a big deal to me. So
get Connor Hughes.
Jake Asman and I have a pretty good relationship, like not friendship, but like Twitter kind of thing. Like I talked to him on Twitter DM. Like when I got my Wilson jersey, I thanked him for the recommendation of where to go to get cheap jerseys. And every time I get a jersey, I tell him about it and send him a picture. He seems to know who I am because he always responds. He's always really nice back at me. So I don't know, maybe one day, but like I definitely don't have the relationship with him that, you know, that he's going to be like, oh, I got to get on that guy's channel from, you know, help my brand or anything, you know, like I'm going to have to get a little bigger or again, I'm going to have to just advance my relationship with him and make him want to do it just to help me out or because he wants to hang out and have fun with us, you know, but is, you know, not because he's going to be running on for the opportunity to be on my channel. I'm not there yet. So Connor Hughes, you know, I would definitely love to have Connor Hughes on the show. I'd probably have to prerequisite to everybody to be respectful to him. If I ever got a guy like Connor Hughes to somehow agree to be on my show or a Rich Samini or anyone like that, I'm asking you right now in advance, if you're listening to me right now, know that my expectation is you're all going to be respectful and you're all going to just let him talk and ask questions and let it be a safe environment because I would be very upset if everybody was attacking him because it would be a big deal to get him on. I wouldn't pretend that I didn't say the things I've said. I wouldn't pretend or be a phony to him. I would just say, hey, if you want to talk about some of the things that I've accused you of or been mad at you over, and you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. But I would want to do it as adults, like we talk about it and everybody respect them.
And then we could have Green Bean on as a surprise guest.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Nah, pass on that one.
Look at this. Get Loose Stools and Legend together. I forgot about Loose Stools.
How?
I don't know.
Tell me how, Jeremy. Tell me your secret.
Because he hasn't been in here that much, and it's not like he's in here, you know, like so it was that one time. But
It's more puppets. You don't say that, because whoever does loose stools, usually people like that have more than one puppet. So
Oh,
we
boy.
might end up getting one. Hopefully somebody a little bit more positive, a little bit more complimentary of the channel. I'm pretty sure if Jake would come on, you just asked and worked around his schedule. You do? You think he would?
I mean, he's on Central Time. 9 o'clock seems somewhat reasonable. It might only be for an hour. I mean, Leary gave us an hour 20, so yeah, as long as he could do an hour, I think there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I guess it doesn't hurt to ask. I guess
You never know if you don't ask. You just don't want to hound them.
Yeah, I don't want to hound them. Exactly.
Just like say, here are a couple of dates we have in mind. Would one of these work for you?
Yeah.
Which one of these would work for you? You don't want to give them the opportunity to say no. You just say which of these works best.
I couldn't watch that show out of respect for you. You couldn't watch what show? What is
The Connor one?
Oh, the Connor show?
But that didn't take shots at you or obviously me, but at Green Bean. But he didn't even mention Green Bean by name. Just said that bean guy, I think is what he kind of alluded is what he did.
I mean, look, if he would want to have the conversation, I'd say, like, why did you say that Mekhi Becton had no excuse to not be at OTAs? Did you know his wife was 7 months pregnant? What was your line of thought in that? Like, I would love to ask him that and give him the chance to address it. And if he said, look, it was a mistake, I forgot that she was pregnant, I'd say, okay, and I'd believe him. I'd say, okay.
He has nothing to gain by lying.
You're admitting that you made a mistake, but please in the future say that. Send out a tweet saying I made a mistake. Say
and
it.
we respect that, and we respect. There's something about genuine humility, because we all screw up.
Yeah,
we all make mistakes. But just be a real, genuine person, and that goes a long way nowadays.
Yeah.
Sluggo, how did you know our plan?
I'm surprised people are saying Jake would join. I would just think because he's.
I don't know. It seems like a popular,
successful. Why would he want to come? I mean, I'm getting there, but I don't know. I mean, to be honest, it's weird that I'm saying that, because me, I never turn down an invitation. I don't care how many people are watching or whatever. I'd love to talk Jets. So
I mean, Sam, yeah. I mean, I'm not. Just the opportunity to have these conversations. It's just fun. It's exciting. It makes me feel like more of a fan, because I love getting other people's perspective, even if I disagree with it. I enjoy hearing somebody else's thought out opinion. It makes me want to up my game, be a better fan. And what's wrong with that?
I will ask him, guys. I will ask him. It would be cool to have Jack Eastman.
And we can introduce them. Let's bring Jake on and get it started. As long as he can bring Carly with him. I don't know where she came from, but we got to make sure Carly's on. I think that should be.
I'm wondering if DJ Bien has any kind of relationship with Jake from the Jets. Did he go on his show when he was doing his farewell tour? And are they going to connect? Are they going to connect in Houston? Now that they're both covering Houston, will it be? Hey,
Yeah, DJ did a couple of shows that I remember. I think he did Jake's. I'm pretty sure he did. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I put it on Twitter for DJ. I said, "Hey man, you should look up Jake Asman. He does the Texans also, and he lives down there, so you have some connection to to some of the YouTube people."
Yeah.
So make sure you approach the Daywalker correctly. The Daywalker. I definitely would watch a show with Jake Asman. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I would love to do a show with Jake Asman. The goal would be.
You know who we should get on? Who the ultimate get would be? Jets Forever. Let's find out if this is a real freaking human being or just a complete bot. I want to find out.
That's from before. He says, "I don't make mistakes."
I see what you did there, Iowa. I see what you did there.
It's funny because Iowa is he's taken this very cocky attitude since his appearance on Green Bean Show. It filled him with a lot of confidence. Carly looks like a stoner. Hey, before it gets too late and people leave, I wanted to show this. I thought you'd appreciate it. I don't know if Mess is still here. I was hoping he'd get to see it, but Dark Soldier at least is here to see it. This is me and Y2K. when we met up in real life in Cary, North Carolina, visiting our parents. We got together and we ate this. So just check this out. I'm going to show you where we went to eat.
Sausage side, that's the plain cheese side.
Okay, so we got sausage and really hot peppers on one side.
Sausage and Calabrian chili peppers.
And then you can't, when you get pizza, you have to try some traditional margarita slices just to compare it to everything else. This is going to be really, really good.
The smell of those peppers, the smell of the garlic on here. I wish you guys could smell this right now. It is unbelievable.
By the way, he's wearing this Ranger stuff, and we're in the Raleigh-Durham area. Like, we are in enemy territory.
We've already been upcharged $20 on the pizza.
Right, we're already getting ripped off on the pizza because of it. So, gonna get myself again. Hey, what's up? We're about to eat some food. Snacks is about to snack.
And that pizza did not survive, which I'm sure will shock absolutely nobody.
What's up, guys?
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that pizza was fantastic, man. That was very close to the actual DeFaro's in Brooklyn, the way it was. I mean, very, very close. I mean, it reminded me of it. It had that flavor, the crispiness of the dough. It was so crispy. Hey, Jet Show, you'll have to rewind if you want to see Matt O'Leary. He has already left. He was here for the first hour and 15 minutes of the show, but we're still hanging out a little bit. And we're actually having a discussion of whether or not I would be able to get Jake Asman onto this show. He does not hate Mims. He would like to see Mims have a good season. Okay. Oh, so they're arguing over the Jake. Like, well, maybe that could be what I asked Jake Asman. I could say a lot of my.
Why do you hate Mims?
No, a lot of the communities. Some say you hate him. Some say that you want him to have a good season. Can you just clarify what's your feelings on Mims?
Sluggo, we had that in mind. We had a couple of different places in mind, but just the way that it went, see, at the fair, you don't really order by the slice. You got to pretty much order a pie. And I believe it was an 18-incher, as I recall. I think it was was it 16 or 18? It was a good size.
Oh, it's about 18 inches.
Yeah, so Matt, that was we shook out half, and everything was going. We were just talking about podcasting, the shows, all kinds of stuff, and next thing we knew, it was like 3 hours had passed. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it just was like we knew each other. It's like we knew each other for years, and ironically, we actually lived close to each other many years ago. We were both in Cary for a little while, but obviously we didn't know each other then. But
there was some overlap there.
We might have passed each other before and never even knew it. You never know in this crazy life.
So the interesting thing is, Macman, I want to just say this place, this is the cousin or the nephew of the real DeFaro, and they have a machine that converts their water to New York water. So Roma Foods delivers, that's the distributor that delivers to almost all New York pizza and Italian restaurants. They distribute down to North Carolina. So they're getting all of the ingredients. They have New York water. They have,
it costs a quarter.
They get all the same cheeses from Roma. So this was New York pizza in every sense. It was New York pizza because it was literally New York water and all the same ingredients from the better places in New York City. So that's why it was so good. And I'm telling you, I'm a pizza snob. I'm a fanatic. I would never compare a place to New York and the pizza in a different city to New York if I didn't know and really mean it. I'm really serious, as Adam has found out, and I found out about him. We're very serious about the pizza. I'm not going to say something's good if it's not good.
No, absolutely. I mean, some people say even the worst pizza is pretty good. No, it's not. You can have some crap pizza. Okay, there is bad pizza out there, and where I live, it's not very easy. Harlan, that is really interesting. The best pizza you had was in
Israel. Food in Israel is very good.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
well, I guess considering you're in that part of the world, I can see how the ingredient quality would be really good. You just have to have somebody who knows what they're doing. But now that I think about it, it does make sense. But I've gone on many rants about Chicago thin crust style and what an abomination it is. The Provel cheese of St. Louis is just ridiculous. But I'm a big Jeremy. Have you had New Haven style pizza, like a Frank Pepe or a Sally's?
I've never not in New Haven, but there's a place called Gruppo Pizza in New York in the East Village, and they're Connecticut guys, and it's that style. It's the super thin crust style, and it's wonderful. I absolutely love it. It's a very different type of experience, but I absolutely love it. Delicious, really good flavor. Good pizza in Staten Island. Of course you do. You got, first of all, there's DeFaro's in Staten Island. You got Nunzio's in Staten Island, and there's a Godfather's Pizza. I mean, there's a bunch of good. Staten Island's no joke because so much of Brooklyn moved to Staten Island in the last 30 years that like half of my friends did. Of course, the pizza moved there too from Brooklyn. So there's a lot of good culinary, a lot of good food, specifically Italian food in Staten Island. There's no question about it. There's a lot of good places to go in Staten Island if you want to eat good. No question about it.
Yeah, it seems like to get I have an uncle, my dad's brother. He still lives there. I haven't seen him much. I've seen him maybe once in the last 15 years. Family dynamic thing, but it's tough to get to Staten Island. But yeah, it's I don't have a whole lot of memories of it because I was so young, but I do remember when we would go to a restaurant, when we would cook, there was something about it that was better. There was just something different. There was something authentic, like that Staten Island, that Brooklyn. As we had great stuff in New Jersey too, don't get me wrong, but there was something about being in that part of New York City that just made it, that gave that little bit of extra love, that little bit of something extra that made it better. And it's like if I can, you know what? When I was in Myrtle Beach this past weekend, I went to a place called Umberto's, and I told you a little bit about it, but they had so this was like that old school Italian where they're feeding you before you even order. A bowl of Italian beans, tomato, cucumber, and onion salad, angel hair pasta, crusty bread with the salted butter. That was all included. That we didn't even pay for that. All of that was included. That was before we even ordered. But when it got to the marinara, it was like a sweet marinara sauce, and you had that little bit of water at the bottom of the bowl. And when I saw that water, I'm like, I was done right there. It was like, no, I don't want a bunch of like tomato water at the bottom of my pasta bowl. I mean, how difficult is that? It's just it's like you got chunks of tomatoes here, you got water down here, and that really disappointed my experience.
Not a good thing. Not a good thing.
No, it wasn't.
My favorite Italian restaurant is when I'm in New York.
What is
There's
that?
a place in Little Italy on Mulberry Street. It's called Danico's.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. And they have, if the weather's nice, they have a patio in the back. Like you walk through the restaurant, you go outside, and I swear to you, when you sit in on this patio, you feel like you're in Florence. Like you escape. You're in Italy. But it's not Florence style food though. It's Sicilian food. Like it's the red sauce, Parmesan, menu. But man, they do everything perfect. Even the pizza there is great. So we always get a margarita as an appetizer just to get some awesome pizza. And then I'll go just old school traditional. I'll just get chicken parm, just because I miss real chicken parm. Like when we go to L&B on that Saturday before the game, I want my square L&B pizza. But do you know how tempted I am to just walk over to the restaurant side of L&B and get a chicken parm hero? Like it's going to be the only thing that's going to make it that's not tempting is that when I get in Staten Island, there's a place that I really love that we're going to order heroes from there for lunch. So maybe I'll get it out of my system. You know what I mean?
There was I had something in mind, but my train of thought, I'm going to so many different food places that I can't even keep up anymore. But
oh my God, Pete Stakes, the Miami fan. Zach Wilson cheating on his girl.
Yeah, I saw this.
It's not a good sign of leadership. Oh my God. But dude,
that's rich, Pete.
NFL quarterbacks aren't having tons of sex.
I mean, Tua, I'm sure tries. I just don't think he can go very far, if you know what I mean.
No, look, I don't know what any of them do. I just know that, first of all, his girlfriend is just saying that. Like, the person that looks bad in all this is NFL wide receiver Dax Milner, who is dating his former, teammate and roommate and supposedly best friends,
and dating his ex-girlfriends. I mean, that's who broke bro code. Bad for leadership. I think all the players came out and they love him now. They're like worshiping in the ground he walks on. I don't think it shows poor leadership. I think that there's two different I don't think a person should be held like I don't expect my personal life to be held as what kind of leader I am professionally at my school. Unless I do something that gets me arrested or that's illegal or I hurt another person. But my like for sex life, drinking or partying or who I hang out with is none of anybody's business. Why is it anybody's business? Just because people put it on Twitter, that's the only reason we know about it. But I think it's absolutely ridiculous to like you're going to judge somebody by their leadership. You're going to judge someone like that because of what they do in their personal life. I mean, give me a break. Zach Wilson has no responsibility to live any differently than we live, as long as it's within the law. He really doesn't. Like everybody wants to hold people to higher standards, and they're such hypocrites. Because I'm sure this guy Pete, if he was able to get laid and have sex with the women that Zach is sleeping with, I'm sure he'd be first online. And it's always the ones that get all anal and critical about it. That's not a very good thing to do. That are always the ones that are dreaming about it the hardest. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones.
No, I do know what you mean. Well said.
Huh?
No, well said. Yep, spot on. Spot on.
I mean, it's like he, as long as it doesn't affect him, and as long as he shows up on time.
Oh boy, he's still on this train. Oh my God,
it doesn't matter. There's only one place where it matters to be a leader, and that's in the locker room. And that's what you do when you show up to work.
Easily manipulated by an old chick. Hey, Pete, have you ever dated an older woman? It's not that bad of an experience. Hey, at least they know what the hell they're doing. And I'll leave it at that.
Why is it a terrible decision? First of all,
would you rather him go like 10 years younger? Or should he date like a 16-year-old? Like go statutory? Is that what you want?
A terrible decision is getting married and then cheating on your wife.
That's
the right decision. Is don't want to be with one person, so I'm not going to get married. So I have the right, and it's nobody else's business to date and sleep with whoever the hell I want to.
As long as his primary focus when it's time to play and prepare, as long as that is where it needs to be. You know, we don't need any Brigitte Nielsen's coming in and messing up like Mark Gastineau. We don't need any of that. So as long as Zach Wilson is mature enough to keep it in its place, I have no problem with what he does off the field.
Yo, Lee, yo. Look.
Hey, he's embracing New York. Oh, Joe Namath. Was he a prude? Did he ever go out? I think once or twice, just a time or two. So are we going to judge that? I don't think so.
I mean, but what you're saying is that
he was getting laid the night before the AFC Championship game. You kidding?
What we're saying is that everybody who's in a position of leadership has to live by a code that's different than everybody else in their private life? What? Like, no. He doesn't have to say, oh, I shouldn't sleep with this woman, even though I'm single and it's perfectly legal and it's consenting adults. I shouldn't do it because I happen to be the quarterback of the New York Jets and they might find out and that would make me a bad leader. That's stupid.
Just use protections act. Yeah, we don't need to be getting anybody. Yeah, we don't need any of the bad stuff.
As long as he's in the film room and as long as he's at every practice and as long as he's working hard to be the best quarterback he could be, that's what makes you a great leader. Not who you sleep with and what you do in your personal life. That's your personal life. And by the way, you're wrong because not only there's players in the NFL that aren't on his team that are calling Zach Wilson the GOAT.
There's 8 billion goats nowadays. So, yeah, the sooner we can retire the word goat, I think the happier a lot of us are going to be because it's just so overused.
Iowan, I'm going to give you some advice. If you're going to order bagels, do not do it through GoBelly ever again. If you really want a real experience and taste what a real bagel tastes like when you're in New York City and or in Brooklyn and you go to a real bagel place and you try a real bagel, I'm going to make it very easy for you. You go to the Brooklyn Bagel Company. Google it right now. Brooklyn Bagel Company. Okay? You go, and I think it's BK Brooklyn. Just type in Brooklyn Bagel Company. They're actually located in Astoria, Queens.
Yes, I know the one you're talking
You
about.
can order bagels from them, and what they do is they par bake them. Now, he's from Iowa, so I'll explain this. That means they don't bake it all the way. They steam them, and then they like cook them only like a third of the way or half the way. Then they quick freeze vacuum pack them, and they send it to you frozen. You put them in the freezer, the ones you want to eat right there. You take them out, and you put them on a pan on wax paper at 450 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. And I am telling you that, and I do it, that is how I eat real bagels. That remind me of my childhood. So that is the way to eat bagels, my friend. But not the gold belly thing. Not that. Don't do that. Because they're just cooking bagels and they're not fresh and they're nothing like a real bagel.
I'm sorry, I was having a moment there. I was thinking about the bagels right out of the oven.
Yeah, I think Iowa, you might get a chance to have some real ones when you're in New York. So we'll see. Hopefully you can go to a real place.
Yeah,
I
can get some good bagels here. Like Richmond has a place called Nate's that are legit. And you know how I know they're real? They have Taylor ham / pork roll there. Like real fresh OJ. Like they've got like the real ingredients to make like those sandwiches the way they need to be. That's right. Snacks is Scotch Red, is Johnny Walker Red, and his Women Blonde. Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what I'm going to do for Iowan is, since I'm going to be on Staten Island coming into the game, I was planning on doing it anyway because I know at those tailgate parties you could wait a long time for something to eat and be really hungry. So what I'm going to do, Iowan, is I'm going to get a bag of bagels from one of the good Staten Island bagel places, and we're going to come in with bagels. So when we see you in the parking lot, I'll have a bagel for you, and you'll try a real bagel. It might not be as good as the ones I used to get fresh from Brooklyn growing up, but it'll be darn good. Like Staten Island bagels are really, really good. So
what's your favorite flavor of bagel, Jeremy?
I like everything bagels or salt bagels. I'm a really big salt bagel guy, but I take a butter knife and I scrape most of the salt off because it's too much.
It really is.
Once I scrape the salt off, though, like if you scrape all the salt off, so it's just what's left, like stuck onto the bagel, then I butter it. Like a buttered salt bagel is one of my absolute favorite things in the world. But if I'm going to do it with cream cheese, it's going to be an everything bagel. I mean, I like them all. An onion bagel, a garlic bagel. I could do them all. They're all amazing. I mean, a good bagel is a good bagel. And I like all those different flavors. If I'm doing like egg salad, I like a sesame seed bagel or any kind of sandwich, like a turkey sandwich. I like sesame seed bagels. So it depends on like what I'm going to have on them. But man, I was a really big salt bagel guy.
Okay. They're so hard to find, but I love a good rye bagel with like that caraway seed in it. But they are about the hardest types of bagels to find. It feels like, because everybody sells their pumpernickel, but it is so hard to get a good rye bagel. But my usual go-to is like a poppy seed. Very much. I used to be a sesame seed fan, then I kind of moved over to poppy seed. But I even had like some of the places around here do like a whole wheat everything, and that's pretty good too. And some places around here do egg bagels. Those can be good. I still not sure what the difference is between an egg bagel and a plain bagel, other than the color. But they are pretty dang good. And I've got some of that, everything but the bagel seasoning. Put some of that on an egg bagel, and that's really fantastic. But just simple cream cheese, light. If I go to like a bagel shop, I always get the cream cheese on the side, because it's like the bagel is like this thick, but the cream cheese will be like this. It's like, my God, they give you like half a pound of freaking cream cheese per bagel. It's like, are you kidding me right now? It's like, I got enough here for a dozen. I just wanted one bagel. It's like you're supposed to put some of the cream cheese in your coffee or something. I don't know.
So the 1K party, the 1,000 subscriber party, is going to happen. I have not picked the date yet or decided when. It's going to happen when, first of all, it becomes official, because right now I'm in the approval process. Now, I don't think I've done anything wrong in these live shows. I did hide one of the shows where there was some cursing. I quickly made that private.
I can imagine which one it was already.
Yeah, but I couldn't find the old ones, like in the very beginning. But those don't have a lot of views, and it says in the thing that they look at like some of the higher viewed videos and the more recent ones. And a lot of that cursing was like in the middle of like a 2-hour stream. So I think I'll be fine. Then I don't know what will happen. They might just say you have to take these down, But I'm not really that worried about it. I think I'm 95% confident it's going to get approved. So as soon as they approve it and it's official and I'm a monetized ads guy on YouTube or whatever, a partner of YouTube, I'm not going to celebrate it until I know for sure. And because I don't want to look like an idiot. So when that happens, and it becomes official probably within the next 5 days, I guess, or 6 days. It'll definitely be by next week. Then I will announce and pick a date for the official 1,000 sub party, where we will give out the prizes and, of course, the grand prize, which is a tier 3 membership to Green Bean's channel for his Patreon, a 1-year membership for free, which means you get to be on Green Bean's show as a guest host. You get to go to all his Wednesday meetups on his private Zoom. So you get opportunity to get to know Green Bean and talk with him and hang out with him. And once a month, he plays a classic football game. And Dom C is sometimes on there giving player breakdowns. So it's a pretty cool thing to be part of. So that will be the main prize. I will pay for a year for you to be a member, a tier 3 member of this Patreon.
Sounds like a pretty good price to me. I love how the chat is giving us all their favorite bagel takes. And it's interesting. It's like I read some of these and I'm like, I think I kind of know one, where you live, 2, how old you are. I feel like, is it me? I feel like the cinnamon raisin bagel, you got to be like 55 before like eating it. If you're like, that the cinnamon raisin bagel is if you're like 55 and over.
You want to
start I can see where Iowan lives. Blueberry bagel with strawberry cream cheese. Yeah, that sounds like a very Iowan thing to order. I'm surprised there isn't some corn in the middle of it.
You want to start a brawl between Green Bean and Nick Shine?
Ooh.
Nick Shines basically says anybody who order like Green Bean's like Taylor ham, eggs and cheese on a roll.
Yeah.
Nick Shine says you're an idiot if you order that. There's no such thing. It's pork roll, egg, and cheese on a roll. So this is one of the biggest, most divisive things in New Jersey. They fight over this. And they ask me, Jeremy, what do you call it? Taylor ham or pork roll? And I say, I'm from Brooklyn and worked in Manhattan. I get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll. So I don't know about no ham.
And I go, I'm from New Jersey. They haven't asked my opinion. Yeah.
What's your opinion? What's your feel?
You know what? I was always a sausage, egg, and cheese kind of guy. Like I remember when Burger King broke out the bagel sandwiches. This was like when I was 9 years old. I used to go to summer camp Monday through Friday up in Hackettstown, New Jersey. I think it was at Centenary College is where it was located. I still remember this. But every Monday morning, I'd have my sausage, egg, and cheese on a bagel. Back when this was like a huge new thing, and loved it. When they switched over to croissants, it was never the same. By the way, the croissant was a complete disappointment. But for me, it was always pork roll. I was always a pork roll guy, not Taylor ham.
I love filet mignon from Ruth Chris. Aside from Peter Luger's,
here we go.
Aside from Peter Luger's, there's 2 things in the world I would choose. Like Peter Luger's, Ruth Chris filet mignon, or there's a restaurant in Florence, Italy with a steak Florentine. So I could do, and it's called Starstanza. So those are my 3 favorite, like number 1 choices if I was going to have a steak. So Sergeant Mike, hey man, you're in my top 3, bro. Filet mignon with some cream spinach at Ruth Chris all day long.
But here's the thing. If you go to Peter Luger or one of its sister restaurants, you cannot go there without getting the thick cut bacon. That bacon, there is nothing like it. If you want to talk about something expensive to buy online, look up the Peter Luger thick cut bacon and what that costs. But some of that with some of their sliced tomato and onion and that thick bacon with a little bit of their steak sauce. It's the sauce you don't put on a steak, but they call it steak sauce. You get the spice, the salt, the crunch of the onion, the sweetness of the tomato, and the zestiness of that sauce. Every taste bud that you have gets engaged. It is beautiful.
Buffalo Jets fans must secretly be a Jewish old man, because that's totally a Jewish old man thing. All I want is a plain bagel with some butter and some black coffee. Simple. But
I will say that is a lot better than your New Zealand accent.
well,
Although it should be.
Well, I could do an old Jewish man. Well, I'm pretty much almost an old Jewish man,
You're
so
getting-
I should be able to do it.
What time is it now?
Let me tell you. Oh, look at this. What is it? You're all putting bologna on a breakfast sandwich. You see, that's the whole thing, man. I do bacon. I'm just bacon or sausage, because when I go to McDonald's for an egg McMuffin, I don't get the Canadian bacon. I get a sausage egg McMuffin
There you go.
every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or I'll go to Chick-fil-A. I like the egg white grill, the chicken breast, egg white, and cheese. I mean, I don't get a whole lot of breakfast out, but I do like the egg white grill at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I don't argue about it. I'm saying New Jersey people argue about it.
Yeah.
Boy, do they fight over it.
Ooh, I've had fried bologna sandwich in Kentucky. Oh my God. It's one of the few times I thought something that I ate. I couldn't believe something so small felt like it was going to make me die. Oh my God. It was like mustard, tomato, Braden. That's what I'm here for. And I love that's one of the things that's one of the reasons Jeremy and I do this thing like we do it. We could break down food like nobody's business. And we love doing it.
Who eats a plain bagel anymore? Well, Buffalo Jets fan.
A lot of people do.
A Buffalo Jets fan and old Jewish men. That's who. Let me tell you a joke. Okay. Or Jeremy's Irish accent. Irish. I am Irish. I'll kick you in the head. Shut up. I'll kick you in the head. I'm Irish. Okay. Or Jeremy's Iowa accent, which is not really an Iowa accent.
It's really not. Iowa has the most generic accent. Like Iowa, Minnesota, Dakota. Well, Minnesota has yeah. You've seen Fargo, yeah.
I got accused of being a racist for doing different accents. Or discriminatory. You're discriminating against people from Iowa. I was like, what?
I think they'd be flattered.
I was like, what? First of all, I'm not even trying to do a real Iowa accent because I don't know what it is. They pretty much talk normal like TV people. They talk real TV English. So I make up an accent for Iowa because there really isn't one. And really all it is a screaming guy from the South or a screaming guy from the South who doesn't really have a Southern accent. I just got a Ford.
And Harlan sums it. Yeah, Harlan sums up. It's amazing you guys eat what you do and are still alive. See, here's the thing. I don't talk about the healthy food because who cares about the smoothie that I'm eating or the yogurt and trail mix I had for breakfast this morning?
Yeah.
Would you like me to break down? Would you like me to break down the smoothie? I'll be happy to. I didn't think so. But I do work out quite extensively. I work out like 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah, you do.
One of the reasons I do is so I can eat.
Yeah, that's smart. I need to start doing that so I can eat without dying very soon.
We need you around for a little while. You and Nick, we need you guys. You guys got to start. Hey, if I got to be a personal trainer, I got to come there and whip you guys into shape. I will do it.
I want to sell Maximilian. I actually, for breakfast today, had a chorizo egg burrito, and they are very good in California, and I enjoyed it very, very much.
Chorizo is hit or miss with me. Yeah, it can be good, but it can be not so good. You know, Buffalo, it's really cool. We have a place here in Virginia and Norfolk called Salmiches, and it's by people from Buffalo. Like that's where I could get my beef on Weck and all those like Buffalo type standards, which is pretty cool. And the big wings place here is the Dirty Buffalo. Now, if you're a big wings guy, now Green Bean didn't get to have these wings when he came. But I would have I would have taken them there. And Jeremy, if you come there and if you want wings, that's where we're going. Like they name wings after tag teams. They can buy dry rubs and sauces. Oh, it's unbelievable. And their wings, they do a specialty wing of the week every single week. It's amazing. But these people actually come from Buffalo, and they got the garbage plates and all these like traditional Buffalo things. That I've never
they
seen.
do a traditional. First thing I want is just traditional wings. Because a traditional wing, like I had it once in my life. There was a place near Stony Brook, and where I went to college in Long Island. There was a place called Gilligan's. I don't know if it's still there anymore. And they had wings. The guy was from Buffalo, and I knew it right away. I said, "Why are these so good?" And the waiter told me, "There's guys from Buffalo." Like it was like it's at another level. They're so good. So if I go to a place like that, the first 6 I'm getting are traditional Buffalo wings, and then I'll try other flavors and everything. But like one of the things I'm really jealous about from the Buffalo Jets fan is that he can go out and get real wings anytime he wants.
Chris Bradigan, what did I say? He asked, Yeah, we got to put that up.
What's this?
He mentioned
Find
a
it.
certain word,
Oh, put
and
it up.
that is very controversial on how you pronounce it. So some say euro, some say gyro, some say euro. It is actually euro. From everything that I've learned in the Midwest,
It's here.
yeah, euro is a very big thing in the Midwest, much more so than the East Coast. Don't be misled by what you saw on Seinfeld in the subway many years ago. From people who are actually Greek, have told me it is actually euro.
Yeah, and Chicago is filled with Greek people, and I have a Greek friend.
And
And
yep, Detroit,
who
same
made
thing.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, or you could just ask Frankie from Flatbush, and he'll tell you.
It's like you pronounce Johnny's name like Euro or Mir. It's yeah. You remember Johnny with Mir? We always mispronounce his last name. I think it's the same kind of sound. I think it's that kind of a thing. Yeah.
So Buffalo, check this out. Forget about calling a hero sub. This makes me want to blow Sacramento up. I can't stand people who do this. You're not going to believe this. It drives me crazy. It makes my blood. I turn red when I hear it. I read food reviews, and it drives me nuts. I want to just strangle them through Yelp. People will call sandwiches here sandos. They'll say it's a great sando.
I thought Sammy was despicable.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Or it's Samdo.
Sando. I could take sandwich. That's kind of fun to say,
Right.
but a Sammy or a Sando?
It's offensive to me, dude. It's
Come
offensive.
on.
I look at them and I say, that's how I know it sucks. The second they said it's good, tasty sando, dude, I'm saying it's shit. Because when you eat a real sandwich, you call it a hero. Like, you know what I mean? When it's real, it's a hero. Now, I'm okay with hoagie. I'm okay with hoagie.
I'm okay with hoagie. I'm okay with grinder. I spent a lot of time in Connecticut, and up there it's a grinder. I could even take that. But, oh my gosh, it's like, make it so we actually know what the hell you're talking about. A sando? Yeah. I would think I'm on the beach somewhere. Come on.
Yeah, a samdo. I mean, I could even live with this. This is cool because it's New Zealand. Hi, mate. Have a sarnie. Okay. You know, like, I'll do that. But, like,
Connie Sani.
But we're in America now, and they're calling it a samdo. It's just so cheesy. It's just so, it drives me crazy.
If you have a sando, it should be nothing but bologna, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it just drives me nuts. But I like that, a sarnie. You know, in Australia, we used to, they used to say, put another shrimp on the barbie for you.
Right.
But that was a lie. That's not what the common expression is. If you go to a barbecue in Australia, what they really say to you is, we'll put another snag on the barbie for you. And a snag is like a kind of sausage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But to make it Americanized in those Paul Hogan commercials, we'll put another shrimp on the barbie for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen that at Outback. Let's put it that way. I've never seen that sausage on the menu, and I definitely haven't seen a Foster's. Well, when you go to Australia, you're not going to see Foster's.
Yeah, sando. Oh, it drives me crazy.
Yes, Iowan. Thank you for the explanation. We appreciate it. Hey, what do you have in Iowa? You have those sandos in Iowa? Is it
in New Zealand they call it a snarla. We put a snarla. Come on, put a snarla in the belly for you, mate.
I can see that. Okay, I kind of like that.
Yeah, and I doubt they. Well, I'll tell you what about
Dark. They don't.
Well, but if they do, it's like, because someone from Australia that I went to a camp with, he worked in the Camp America, brings over a lot of Australians, and he goes, it's just one of many beers, mate. And he goes, and it doesn't taste anything like your American shit piss here.
How to speak Australian. Beer. Foster's Australian for beer. It was so over the top. It was so over the top.
That's another thing the guy from Australia told me. He goes, because not only did he tell me they say snag on the barbie, he said, if we were going to say shrimp, we wouldn't say shrimp. We'd say, I'll put another prawn on the barbie for you.
Or prawn. Yeah,
like, it would never be shrimp. It would never be shrimp.
I do love those grilled shrimp on the barbie and Outback, I gotta say. Half of my parents is from Oz. You're from the land of Oz? What was it like hanging with the Munchkins back then? How far off the yellow brick road did you live? Follow the yellow brick road.
Wherever we go.
I always thought sandwiches were on slices of bread, where Sub-Zeros are on longer loaves of bread. Not sure what the bread is called.
Yes, no,
Rolls.
yeah. No, well, I mean, you
I,
could say
I'm
Italian
just
hero bread, Italian bread, French French
Portuguese
bread.
bread.
I mean, but like it's still a hero. But like, yeah, if you put it on regular Wonder Bread, it's a sandwich. If you put
Unless
it
it's a
on
hot dog.
Italian bread, it's a fucking hero. Oh, I'm not supposed to do that.
Well, at least you backed away from the microphone. It might be something you can edit. I don't know. But real quick, I wanted to not. Sorry to change the subject real quick, but I want to mention. So I told I told you, I told Nick, and I told Dom I was going to the Hall of Fame this weekend. Hey, Sean. Hang on for just a second, Sean. You'll want to see this. So I went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
What did I just say? That's right. They have a satellite location of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Yep, they've had it there for about a year at Broadway at the beach, and it's going to be there for at least one more year. And they have a lot of artifacts from the actual Hall of Fame in Canton that they have moved over to Myrtle Beach. And so they have the highlight was probably the Super Bowl room where they had like all these jerseys arranged in a semicircle. They were playing a film above it, and right in the middle of it was the Lombardi Trophy, that precious trophy of silver. I went right up to it. I put my hand right on the case. Obviously, it was enclosed, and I said, "Before long, you will be ours." I was talking to the Lombardi Trophy. I had to get all the good juju I could, but they had a little souvenir shop, just a little thing, and I was able to get a few of these. It's probably going to be for my club, but I got a few of these. So check this out. We got Jets Legends. Okay. And on the back, look at this. You get the outline of the Hall of Fame and the history of every prominent Jet who made the Hall of Fame. Even John Riggins is on it, even though I definitely think of him as a Redskin. But I was able to score a couple of these shirts for the club, so we're going to be giving those away as raffle prizes. So, and I was able to chat with the manager, and he might have given me 10% off, to which I say thank God, because those shirts weren't cheap, but they were exclusive, and it was a really cool thing to visit. So, if you're ever in Myrtle Beach or in that part of South Carolina between now and next July, check it out. They may be there after next July, they may not, but it is a cool thing to visit. So I just wanted to mention that.
He agreed with something. Oh, he's probably agreed with me getting all upset about the sandwiches.
Harlan Abraham said it right. Semolina bread. Oh, yeah. There's something about semolina bread that is just, heaven. Love me some good semolina bread.
I got to try some of the Spates, second best dark beer after German. Okay. Or after Guinness. After Guinness. Okay.
Not a big dark beer guy.
Well, now it's a lot different, the world. I mean, this is all years ago. I mean, now with all the breweries, you don't have enough time in the world to try all the different beers. And every once in a while, I find breweries that just have incredible versions of different beers, like Belgian ales, just from some random brewery in California that makes me go, oh my God, I would think I was in Brussels, and there's so many different stouts and ports and porters, and there's just so many. But it's really cool that we have that now. But when I was younger, it was pretty much just Heineken and Miller and all that crap. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna call it crap. Some people like it.
I know. I didn't even start drinking beer until I was probably in my mid-20s, believe it or not. So maybe I'm just making up for lost time nowadays. But I'm more of an IPA guy. I've slowly started to be able to appreciate a good stout at the right time. But at the end of the day, give me a good hazy IPA, and I'm totally happy. But when I'm out, but when I'm home, I like Yingling Light, Budweiser, and I'm totally good with those. So usually that's what I'm drinking when I'm on camera. And yeah, when you see a koozie, chances are it's either a Budweiser or a Yingling Light.
So if anybody wants to, he's laughing.
Oh, Chris, yep. Chris, real quick, Adam, please let Jeremy know about the Italian beef sandwiches in Chicago. Have you ever had one?
Dude, the biggest mistake I ever made was I actually, because I flew Southwest, didn't stop in O'Hara. I stopped in Midway, and Midway has real restaurant food options. And I was debating whether I should risk it because my flight was coming up and I had to run to the gate, and I'm a nervous Nilly. And I'm so stupid because they had these sandwiches, right? Like someone said, because I said to someone, aside from pizza, what do I do in Chicago? And they said, get an Italian beef sandwich. And I didn't do it. And I'll always regret that. And I'm trying to think. I'm not stopping through Chicago this time, but I do stop through Chicago a lot. And we have a lot of Southwest points now. So I'm going to get to be in that airport again. I know it's probably not the best option, but these are mom and pop places in the airport. It's not like chains. So I think it might be authentic, like it might be the real deal. So, but I definitely, all the times I went to Chicago, I'm ashamed to admit I have never had a Chicago Italian beef sandwich, and there's no excuse for it because I used to travel for business all the time, so I have no excuse for it.
Okay, do you ever get? I know you're in Northern California, but do you ever get down to LA or to Arizona? Do you ever go down that way at all?
Sometimes when I used to drive to San Diego, I go through LA, so I mean, not very often, but
Okay,
I'm there sometimes.
Okay, because they do have Portillo's over there, and anybody who's from Chicago or been up that way, they know about Portillo's. You can't get much better than that. And when I went back for my friend's for a wedding, I landed about 9 p.m. and my friend who picked me up, I said, "We're going to Portillo's right now. Let's go. Big beef, cheddar cheese, sweet and hot peppers, crinkle cut fries." And I was back home. And they have them in California. They got them in Arizona. They got one in Florida. And I think they got one in Texas as well. Rick Bayless and Skip Bayless are brothers.
Wow.
Rick Bayless, by the way, that company, Frontera, they have the best jarred salsa, in my opinion. But you can also order Portillo's online, and you can get you could order their Italian beef, and you could order the Italian beef with sausage. So the combo is the Italian beef with a sausage in the middle of it with some au jus on top, and you can add some sweet or hot peppers if you want. But Portillo's is a place you must go to.
Portillo's is a type of sandwich?
Portillo's is the name of the restaurant.
Oh.
And it specializes in Chicago-style food. So you can get your Chicago hot dog, your Maxwell Street Polish sausage, your Italian beef, your big beef, your cheeseburger. If you know John Belushi.
No Pepsi.
And the other thing they're well known for is now I'm not a chocolate guy. I can't eat chocolate, but they have a chocolate cake shake, which is legendary. And the rumor is they actually put like a hunk of chocolate cake in the shake as they're blending it. That's right, Maximilian. They're opening one in the Metroplex near Dallas. That is true. But yeah, if you ever have a chance, guys, to go to a Portillo's, you will never regret it. Their food is that is fast food done right. I'll tell you right now.
Well, if it ever opens in Sacramento.
I don't know if it will, but at least you got one in the same state. I can't say that. I got to order mine online if I'm going to do it. But you can order the hot dogs, the beef, all kinds of stuff from there.
Cool.
It's well worth it.
I think we're going to wrap up. But what a night, man. Matt O'Leary was with us.
He was.
Good hour and 15 minutes. Thanks, Hank G. I saw a bunch of new people too. I don't know if they came from Matt or if it feels like it's been a long week and I gained a lot of subscribers. I don't know what happened. Kind of blew up. So I'm glad to see some new faces. I can't wait till the season starts and we get everybody in here at the same time. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see the numbers pop. And I have a feeling that as training camp gets going and we have preseason, that's going to happen. I'm really excited about that. I am really excited about the season. I am excited about obviously the opener that I'm going to, but then games 2 through 17, I am going to be doing a post-game show with, and you're on there too. We're going to be doing a post-game show with Buffalo Jets fan, talking with Tigo, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be all reacting to the different games. We're going to go on 10 minutes after every game. It'll be on the Buffalo Jet Fans channel. So excited about it. So I really have this belief that eventually, I don't know if it'll be year 1, year 2, but I have this belief that one day it'll be one of the biggest YouTube shows, live streams, really, in Jets content world. I think it's going to be like one of those 500 plus people in the stream type of thing. I think it will build up to that. And I'm really excited about it.
Man, I'm just so happy to be part of it, to be part of the ride, and to get to chat with so many cool people and so many crazy guys too. Hey, you got to have some crazy in you to be a Jets fan, and Jeremy and I both qualify. We just put on a brave face when we're actually on camera. So yeah, I'm excited to see who we're going to get next for guests. We'll always have some new topics, and as the season gets closer, guys, we're, like I said earlier when Matt was on, we're only 8 days away from rookies reporting. We're going to have real football to talk about, and all the projections, all the hope, all the hype, all the talk. It's all going to become real. It's all going to be actual football. That's all going to go out the window, and we're going to deal with a brand new Jets team. This is the beginning of a new era. Jump on board. We know you're on board, but tell your friends. If they've been ashamed to be a Jets fan for the last 10 years, get your freaking hat out, because this train's leaving the station. It's the Jets Express, and we're taking off.
And with that, thank you so much, everybody. You know how much I appreciate all of you. Have a great, great week. Maybe I'll see you this weekend. Thanks for everything. There were so many great congratulations on Twitter and everything, and comments on my Facebook page and everything. Could not have gotten to where I am without everybody. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. And we will work hard to get guys like Jake on the show, and we'll work hard to get as many guests as we can and make the content as great as possible, because that's what
Connor
you guys
Hughes, another appearance from Loose Stools,
We'll get Loose Stools back. But hey, man, it's all about the quality of the content. You guys deserve the best. I'm working my hardest to make that happen for you. So thanks, everybody. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
What would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.